We are live.
We're live?
Right. It's setting it up. I think we are good. Yeah.
Yeah, we are. All right, assholes. Let's get this show on the road.
Hey, well, I guess first we got to take these pills.
Oh yes, please, right away.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna ask anything other than is there niacin in this?
No,
That
was discussed though.
How about caffeine?
Yes, but I think you guys are all regular pre-workout users.
Yeah.
This is like might not do anything to you. The caffeine content in this is less than a cup of coffee.
Okay. So guys,
kind of coffee? What kind of coffee? Because you know them Starbucks coffees, they got like 400 mix.
All right, let's say 50 milligrams.
50 milligrams.
Okay.
So
okay, cool.
Pussy coffee.
So,
before we get started, guys, let's go ahead and those of you that are watching on YouTube right now, this is the Supplement Industry Roundtable, where we get together multiple aspects and corners of the supplement industry and basically just shoot the shit. Today, we're honored to have on Glaxon with us, which is going to be a good time. They've actually sent us a mystery package, myself, Ben, and Justin here, of pills. And so I guess we'll...
Very trusting.
Yeah, I know.
I gobbled mine right up.
Yeah, I didn't even ask questions. I was like, I don't even care what's in it. I'll just take it.
I was joking on Facebook. I was like, don't do this at home. Like, do not take capsules from people that you don't know what's in.
I saw that post. That was hilarious.
I'll be honest, I don't know what's in it either. So are you going to tell us or later?
I think afterwards.
I think it'd be fun to find out afterwards.
It's not like anything
Better not be
revolutionary.
like Viagra or anything like that, because that would be really weird.
Yes.
Okay, good. Just check.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, "Oh, well, you can tell me. I won't tell anyone." I was like, honestly, I don't know. I didn't ask. I
didn't want to know.
I didn't want to know.
Nope.
I think the coolest thing about it is like the different types of capsules that will deploy at different times. And so it kind of like sets the stage up with one way and then it kind of hits it with something else. So like that's what it'll be interesting, like looking backwards, if your take is different than it would be if you just took all of those things at the same time.
Yeah. It's funny. I've had a couple pre-workouts over the last couple of months that I've gotten to try for people without knowing what's in it. And they try to send me the supplement facts panel if it's a beta. And I actually I've actually gotten into trying them without it because I've actually gotten pretty good at being able to tell what's in it, which I never thought I'd be that in tune with my body.
It's like your nose. You can feel the way it makes you feel, like your nose, your breathing, your senses, the sense of smell. If it really expands your capillaries, yeah, I can tell if something's got certain things in it. Takes a while, right? But
I'm excited for at whatever point we should actually. I have an idea of what I think is in it just based on how you guys formulate it. So when you said speedball, I already kind of had that in my mind.
Yeah, I mean it's not going to be that stimulatory because I knew this was going to be 7 o'clock at night for you guys.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So, but then again, like I don't know, your caffeine tolerance might be so high that it may not be stimulatory at all. But like I don't want to say too much.
I mean, Ben's like a gram a day, isn't he?
He might be.
It's actually funny. I sent this to Mike. I was like, they're making me take this thing, and he was like, "Oh, dude,
making you take this thing."
He was like, "Man, like I don't know if I could do that because." And I'll tell you later what ingredients we thought was in there. And I was like, dude, all three of us have full scoop specimen, I'm pretty sure. So
I've never not full scoop specimen. I didn't. Do people do less than full scoop?
I was going to say, you're not allowed to.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
I think I've done that like less than 5
scoop.
times.
Some communist shit, half a scoop.
I know Mike and Joey have cautioned people and told people to take half a scoop. I started at 1 scoop.
Did you ever tell him about the guy who ended up taking 2 scoops because he mixed the scoop?
Oh my gosh!
And his girlfriend, who was like 100 pounds.
So there's a retailer that we work with who's actually like a good friend of mine.
Let's shout him out then. Primal Philly.
No. It was ProSource.
Okay, someone else then.
Anyway,
Jason.
so this guy sends me a text message and it's like, I want to say it was like Friday at like 8 o'clock at night. He was like, "Hey man, I just got a phone call from this customer. He's been taking GFY and he and his girlfriend have been like locked up all day, like freaking out. They've taken like all these showers, like they don't know what to do. He sent me a picture and like this looks like the wrong scoop." And I was like, "Oh fuck, this is a huge issue." So immediately I call like a production guy, like start checking like some things to make sure that's not possible. So turns out, long story short, this guy had purchased a hybrid and a GFY at the same time. And in messing with that on his kitchen counter, he swapped scoops. So he got like a 2.5 dose of a full scoop of GFY.
So it's like,
and he gave his
1.5 grams of
girlfriend the
caffeine.
same thing.
Oh,
And this guy's like allegedly
Straight to the dome.
Yeah,
1.5
this guy's
grams of
allegedly
caffeine.
he's fine. He's okay. He's fine. I don't know him.
I never heard back after that, so maybe he is, maybe he isn't. Who fucking
Well,
knows?
apparently he's still buying our products from the store.
Love
but
that guy.
and the store owner's friends with the guy, so I think he just kind of berated him over it. But he was like, "Dude, you can't do that. Like, you just like you could have killed your girlfriend. She's like 100 pounds. Like, what are you doing?" Anyway, so he brings him back into the store and they sorted that out. But so there's a someone out there and his
Who's
girlfriend
done
who
2.5 scoops of
I
GFY,
can't-
which is stronger.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah, I can't imagine, man. Like, we sell GFY at like the top tier of potency. Like, all of our pre-workouts are organized in terms of like our potency and what our customers identify as strong. And we've had people who are like ex-meth addicts comment on GFY saying like it was almost too strong for them. Like,
Good
like,
clientele you got there.
That's a
homie.
good-
Oh yeah, listen, no.
They're the connoisseurs of stimulants.
Hey,
They
but
know
you know
they're
what?
talking about.
They trust me enough to tell me their past. So I mean, I guess
Yeah.
definitely a diverse profile of people, but that's insane.
Yeah.
I think we gave a clue in the name with GFY. Like, if you want to take this GFY, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
for me, specimens are much more well-rounded product, and I enjoy taking it. GFY gives me that. I think for me personally, the balance of being a little bit irritable and ratty, as I call it, it kind of just tips it over the balance for me. But a lot of people love it. A lot of people love it.
Well, I think something interesting about that is I think that pre-workouts get a lot of the attention from you guys, but I think like Ben and Jacob and I have all talked, and we've all talked about like, you guys don't get that excited about pre-workouts anyway.
I do.
He does.
I
Well,
do. I'm the
about
only
like
person
about
here.
like formulating them maybe.
Yeah, we spent like, I don't know, you could say we spent a
20
half
minutes,
a year.
20
like,
minutes on the specimen, maybe.
Well, we spent like a half a year putting together like a backlog of all these like concepts and formulas, and then like I can come up with like something that like is concept wise really cool, and then like Joey's the guy that really can put all that stuff into action, and then we kick it back and forth for weeks, whatever, leave it, come back to it, like new information, all that kind of thing. And that wasn't necessarily the case with specimen. There's like pieces of information that we learned in doing some other products that like we definitely can manipulate the way that it deploys, which I think maybe some other people are doing, but like the way that it like kind of the onset of those types of products, like you can manipulate some of those things, and then the niacin and that kind of experience, it might lead to a better, like when you start flushing like that, and I've experienced it, like there's no way to tell me that it doesn't cause like some kind of dopamine response. Like just the sheer like,
Well, we just ate some spicy food right now. That's why people get addicted to spicy food, because you eat it and it burns and your body releases the dopamine to reduce the pain. You get addicted to the chemicals. So I think it has a little bit of that in it, definitely.
yeah.
And I feel like we brought
it's
niacin back.
a pre-workout is what that category has become to us is an experience, right? People just like want that, like they want that flamethrower kind of experience. And that's something that's kind of easier to dial down, I think. It's also what makes it a little bit boring, especially when you start expanding your brand and you get like out into international markets and like bigger vendors and stuff like that. Everyone's playing in a sandbox that like has the same tools in it for the most part. So I think you'll see things that coming from us that like try to push the limits in other areas where we can.
I think Mike and I were talking about this topic last night, and Justin and I have previously talked about this. Hardcore supplements have often been like kind of concentrated, and there was a big surgence of like full dose 28 gram type pre-workouts recently. But with the revolving door of hardcore ingredients kind of letting DMHA, DMA, all that stuff out, there's not much left. And so it's kind of interesting to see you guys. I love the attitude. It's almost like pre-workouts are boring. It's like rudimentary for you guys to put one of these together. Kind of just like laughing in the face of all these people that say they spent 2 years formulating the perfect pre-workout.
No one's done that.
Yeah, literally not.
If you did do that and you're listening, you're a prick, okay? Because it could have taken 20 minutes on the back of a cigarette packet, job done. Throw it out.
Yeah, but Sam, to be fair, I feel like some of your old colleagues at Gaspari probably tried to say that they spent 2 years putting together some products.
I mean, They probably went out back. So what ingredient? I should anyway. Shut up. All right.
Yeah.
I'm joking, Rich. You know, you're a legend in your own living room. All right. Anyway, next.
So
Yeah.
I think the question I want to ask you guys is, what do you see the future of pre-workouts being? You kind of mentioned this experience idea, but there's also, we have to give props to like NutriBio, Cage Muscle, those companies that have been doing like huge dose pre-workouts. Do you think they're going to coexist in the future? Or, I mean, obviously you kind of have a horse in the race.
It's cyclical, right? So while I think on paper, the NutriBio Pre on paper with the clustered or the extreme version with the 25 grams of the cluster or whatever it is, fantastic formula on paper. But for me, the clustered dextrin kind of messes with the absorption of some of the stimulants. And I find that certain ingredients like Hydromax and anything with a lot of silica does that too. So I like to be able to protocol a little bit better. So to take plasma caps an hour and a half before the gym, 45 minutes before I take my specimen. Then I'm going to take the clustered dextrin, which is a NutriBio product, super carbs, so shout them out. I still take that. It's the only clustered dextrin I will fuck with, because the only people I know are definitely using the Mitsubishi Glyco ingredient as opposed to the non-approved version, which might or may not make you sick. Talking from experience there. So I think those products are good on paper, but I don't think in application they are good. Like anecdotally, they're not as powerful to me. It seems to less is more sometimes. If you have like 26 ingredients, maybe they're competing for pathways and regulation and uptake. So
yeah, I get it a lot where people, the first thing they want to do when they get a specimen is figure out what they want to stack it with, whatever pump product. And I'm like, just take it without it first. Like, trust me. Like, and then sometimes when you start putting too much together, right, you totally lose.
Honestly, if you just stack it with a nitrate, if you even not one of ours, Noxygen, the pound for pound king of pumps, that little pill or the powder version, it's literally just sodium nitrate and betaine nitrate. You stack it with that and you've got everything you need. Anything else is just, ancillary, but I would say an intra workout is good, but that's just me personally.
I'm curious to hear from Jacob about what you think is going to happen with pre-workout on the retail side.
Yeah, you're the one who's selling it, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
because it really defines like the pitch for so many.
Well, there's two. I see two types of people, and it definitely narrows it down into the hardcore and then the clinical dosing like categories for people and for our consumers. Because there's the kids, well, not kids, people who come in. And
not kids.
Yeah,
definitely
whatever.
Not kids.
Yeah, no, not under the age of 18. We do not sell to them. But but they'll come in and they think they know it all. They've read it, watched a few YouTube videos. They think they know what dosing is, and they're in search of everything truly clinical. And for that, we NutriBio Pre or Pre-Wo by Dymatize, etc. But then there's the other camp that understands how these products are going to work in their body and what they're really after. And for some people, they feel as if, the clinical side of pre-workout is not really for them. And that's kind of why we like to structure things in terms of potency, and we kind of gauge people's tolerance as they come and go. But I think now, I can't really predict the future of pre-workout supplementation. I can tell you the trend of sales that we've seen over the past 6 months with COVID and how much of a boom we've seen this week. It's been ridiculous, by the way, since
in pre-workout specifically.
Oh my God, man. Gyms, I can't speak for where you guys are, but in gyms in South Carolina, we were just allowed to open this week.
Same thing here.
And so Monday, we had the busiest day since we opened our store 2 years ago. And honestly, I think 43% of all sales were pre-workout, but we haven't had a single, we probably sold like 3 pre-workouts last week. In a normal day for pre-workouts, like 20 tubs or 20 or 30, so I've seen a ridiculous trend there. But as far as the future of it, obviously I think the hardcore and the clinicals are always going to have their place from my perspective.
We're probably overdue a recycling of, do you remember that ultra concentrate, which was really trendy about 8 years ago? We're probably redue one of those. That's unless there is like a paradigm shift in grass stimulant, which I don't think is coming. I've heard rumors from various people. I won't say the names, and then nothing's never come of it. So unless that happens, I can see an ultra concentrate coming back because.
Yeah, and even in my opinion, man, I don't think of GFY as an ultra concentrate, but if you look at the ingredient profile compared to a lot of those 28 gram scoopers, for people can easily dry scoop that compared to some other ones.
And they do. They really do.
But I guess I'll get this out from a retail perspective. Aside from pre-workouts, what you guys are doing so far makes it so easy for me to talk about Glaxon because of the different type of ingredients we're using, the delivery system, like those things. That is what me as a retailer, someone who pays attention to ingredients. I can't speak for every retailer, but like the Shodan ashwagandha, the DR caps, the way, the mechanism of delivery, that's how we sell. So I keep it up.
I love it.
You know?
I love
I think,
it.
I think I appreciate that. I think you're going to see us get a little better over the course of the next year at like drawing attention to those kinds of things. Yeah.
Clearer.
And just refining that. You know, and then back to like where pre-workouts are going. I think there's like this whole young generation that's like been introduced to the energy drink concept at like so much younger of an age.
They weren't a thing when I was a kid.
Right.
Red Bull.
It was like,
Red Bull,
I mean,
like
Red Bull was like a thing, but it
80 mgs of
wasn't
caffeine.
what it is now. And, you know, just like young kids, like sub 18 are like being introduced to these like really stimulant, like just drinks that you consume and it makes you feel very different. And so I sort of feel like as that group ages, they're not going to be so impressed with a powder that makes you feel that plus like enhances like your ability to work out. I think it's going to, I don't know. I just think there's going to be some change there. You know, and maybe that's why you see a lot of this like pivot into these energy drinks, just, you know, or it's just because that's like a distribution way of like introducing it into every, like many eyeballs and hands as you can. But I think I see that having an effect because I've got like younger siblings and I look at like their lives incorporate the use of like 300 milligrams of caffeine from so much younger. And it's so widely available. Like you can go into a gas station and there's like 30 different kinds of drinks that have like, you know, close to 300 milligrams of caffeine. And like when I was growing up, I don't know what Red Bull has, like 80,
something like that. Yeah.
And then they had a bigger version and then some Monsters and then like, you know, NOS and that.
Now,
kind of
yeah. Now, if it's not 300, it's not an energy drink. You know,
so,
like.
I think start got to put theanine in it to calm it down. I think if you one other thing too that like to Michael's point is with the way technology is and everything like that. I know like when we're on our devices a lot, it's much more draining on your brain than ever when I was a kid. We had like some video games maybe, but you were outside all the time, and I think there's a constant need to like refuel that stimulant as the day goes on for younger people, and that's fucking scary, man. Like that's it's a terrifying concept.
Addiction, isn't it?
It sort of is. Yeah, it sort of is. Like we get like programmed to be like in that kind of state. You can do all of this stuff not in that kind of state, but you kind of get programmed to do that because it's just like really culturally acceptable to just like get really caffeinated. And then work on devices all day long. I will say that. Go ahead, Ben. Go ahead.
I was say, speaking of getting really caffeinated, we talked about a caffeine detox a couple months back with you guys.
I know. So that's like another thing that's tabled, and I owe Justin's whole group a whole spiel on that once it's like ready. But that's like we have some queued launches, and it's like,
I mean, fuck it, let's just bring that out alongside something else because you know it's not going to be like a huge thing for us.
It's just like we're poised to do like to kind of like just in time take a concept and then like pull it into a real production.
We're able to do that with, again, not everyone will be aware of this watching this, if anyone's watching this, the vertical integration which we have here, which allows us to operate, you know, an industry leading just in time. As we get bigger, that becomes more challenging. Obviously, we've got to project a little bit better and the supply chain becomes a little bit more complex, especially with some of these new exotic raws. Like we have a product right now, which has been delayed because Lord Savage wanted to add this really cool new ingredient and the supply chain just pushed it back about 3 weeks, maybe more.
6 weeks.
6 weeks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, damn, I wanted to bring it out. But point being, we're blessed to operate that.
Yeah. So I think caffeine detox is something that's totally needed. You know, and then like kind of to like pull a product into that and what like you're alluding to, Ben, and what you just said, Justin, this everyday like caffeinated thing where we look at devices and work on keyboards and like stare at screens all the time.
I love it.
I didn't think that I was stressed out doing that. Like I thought I was like, you know, I deal with this really well. Like if like this device is beeping and that device is beeping, like I have no problem. Like I can just move from task to task, keeps me going. After taking like Serenity, just like for a little while, whether it's like one at a time during the day, after like a week or two, I'm like looking back and I'm just like, oh man, like I was just like a manic mess, you know? Like anyway, so yeah,
do you think there's room for supplements having to do with that, like that constant in front of technology?
I think 100%. Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, it's adding fuel to a fire for sure. I think it's a fire though. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're taking anything. If you stare at devices all day, and like that controls the pace of your like day to day. You know, whether it's your inbox or your text inbox or your multiple platforms that like people are trying to reach out to you, or
and it's we're global now. So I wake up sometimes like 7 a.m., 6 a.m. this time. I've got like messages from people in New Zealand or messages from people from wherever. It's tomorrow over there.
Never stops.
And it's like, I'm looking at it and I'm like, Jesus Christ, like it's literally 6:30 a.m. and I'm already got like work to do. And sometimes they'll Snapchat me and I'll forget about it. And they're like, hey, did you do that? I'm like, I completely forgot about that. I didn't even remember that because I was half asleep when I read it. So yeah, you're right. It's now it's an ever constant part of life.
You're like, oh shit, the Australians are up. Fuck. Now I gotta go. You're ready to go to bed at midnight, and then next thing you know, you're like. But it kind of goes back, like Michael. We've been talking about other ways where you can kind of feel better energy-wise without stimulants. You guys touch on Serenity, kind of gives you that feel, or other adaptogens, things like that. I try to get people to think about energy is not just stimulants, but sometimes, like when you use Serenity, it's sort of, you go, holy shit, like I feel better, but I didn't use anything like dopaminergic and no stimulants. And you're like, wow, it's like this whole new world. This sort of
it is. It's weird. It's like more of like just a working flow state kind of thing where you're not like
serene, hence the name. Hence the name Serenity.
And we gave that kind of notions thought, like when we did Adrenal and when we did some other things.
Super Greens for me is something that I genuinely 100%, I'm not just saying this because we make it, I feel a positive effect within 30 minutes. If I'm feeling a little bit ropey or I'm just feeling a little bit not on point, I have a scoop of it, and within 20, 30 minutes, I'm not sure if it's the nutrients in it, the phytonutrients, the adaptogens, or maybe potentially the bioperin, which is upregulating other stimulants I've already taken. I feel like so much better within half an hour of taking it. If I'm not feeling 100%, I just take a scoop, and it seems to bring me back to where I need to be. And that's not a shameless plug. That is just genuinely. I didn't think it was going to be a product I'd use much. I use it every day.
Same here. I didn't think I would use it that much. I love it.
Because most greens taste like, but not the good kind of but. So, you got to drink this because it tastes good, and then it starts doing its job, and you take it every day.
You guys have come up with a really different flavor system for greens as well. Like Mike, when we had that FaceTime with the tea flavor, like most greens they're not tea. They're chocolate.
They should be though.
Yeah,
it's a bunch of herbs and berries and like floral notes and stuff like that. So it's kind of easier to like kind of go with the wave at least.
Yeah.
Jacob, do you guys sell a lot of greens?
We sold out of Glaxon Super Greens in the past week. So yes and no. Like we have them there, and most people, they'll come in, and if they know they want them, we have them. The issue that I've had traditionally with greens is the ingredient profile is not like what I would consider to be a true dose of like a vegetable or a green. And so, for these products that are just like wheatgrass, like 18 grams of wheatgrass and then a little bit of flavoring, a little bit of like kale extract or whatever, it's hard to sift through the good ones and the bad ones. But I do love, we carry two types, super greens right now and also Cyto greens from Allmax. And they both kind of have their place, but as of recently, people have been picking it up a lot more. I don't know if it's from being at home, quarantined. They're more focused on just their overall phytonutrient, micronutrient health. But yeah, I mean, we do consistent.
I think it outsold every product through this pandemic.
Yeah, it kind of switched positions with Specimen as our number one pound for pound. That started to revert back now, obviously.
You guys aren't the only channels that I've heard say that too. Jesse over at Nutrition Junction sings super high praise about the sales for Super Greens. He says that it's hilarious.
I've had stores and I can't really say the brand because we all know the guy. He's a friend of all of ours, and he's like, people are coming back trying to swap this brand's greens for super greens. And I'm like, honor it, just do it. It's fine. I'll give you some more stuff. Just do it. So a little bit of fun. But yeah, people are definitely, it's getting a bit of a cult following. It's become a problem though, because now we have to, the third flavor, we have to try and be exotic with it to make it cool, but still maintaining the standards we've set of flavor. So
did you try what we did the other day?
We've got a few ideas.
Did you try it?
I didn't try it yet,
Okay.
no. But yeah, it's difficult because now we set like a very high standard. So there's a few other people stepping the game up. I haven't tried the core greens, but everyone tells me that's really good as well. So I need to try.
Their total rebrand is good. I will say their flavor science, and I know what manufacturer they switched to, and it makes sense. It's their taste across the board is good. I guess I'll be open about it. I haven't brought it in yet, but it does taste delicious.
Right.
I don't know if they do small batches when they make runs, but they're, not to be offensive, their pricing's always way up there compared to other, similar dosed formulas. So,
well, you get what you pay for sometimes. So Ben, you know this, I call bullshit on 80% of what's out there. So I believe Doug knows what's in his products.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. I believe Doug.
Yeah, I trust. Look at him. Okay, does he look like someone? He's not a second-hand car salesman. That's someone who lives. This is his thing. This is his passion. So,
yeah, I don't think I really have ever had much negative to ever say about anything from Core. I think some people did make the point that they call it greens, but then there's also reds on the label. But there's really, I think, only tomato in it. There's really no greens in it. But I mean, one of the things I really have been enjoying about greens lately is that it's gone away from green vibrance. So it's just a bunch of greens. It's all like kind of pointed towards a goal. Yeah. Glaxon's is very athlete, minded, and everyone's kind of pushing it towards a certain goal. So I thought Core's greens was good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, their whole rebrand is impressive.
Their Fury just knocked the socks off of me.
Did it?
Yeah, I was very, very impressed by it.
I'm actually in Arlington in a few weeks, and Patrick was like, you need to come in and meet us all while you're there. So I will be doing that.
Yeah, Pat's a cool guy. Yeah, Pat's a really cool guy.
They're actually they're very much considering a relocation to get closer to their primary manufacturer, which is exciting because it's only.
I did that. I ended up living in Nashville for a year. Worst year of my life.
Well, I mean,
wow.
I think they're like, I don't want to speak for them, but they've dropped the hints that they're going to switch over their whole operation. But little side note, I thought it was cool.
Arlington is one of the most expensive places in the country, so I don't blame them.
Yeah,
a little bit hard though because they also own their chain of stores, correct? So
yeah, that's going to be interesting. Unless Doug, wants to give up control to like a district manager or something. I don't know how that's going to play out.
Yeah,
that's going to be interesting. But
interesting. So we have a couple of questions from chat. Two that I really want to get into. One is how was Glaxon formed? Where did it come from? But one that I do not want to forget about is can there be a flight for women? Because that's a hot topic.
I'd love to see that label in pink. So just from a marketing perspective, yes, we can. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll make it work later. Don't worry. Right?
No, we actually do have some kind of mock-ups for a flight for women. The problem with doing the flight for women is that the existing flight in Alpha may not be the same after we do that. Because there's some things we noticed after, which is the case with a lot of our SKUs. There's just some things that we noticed that we have demand for this particular hole, but if we do that, then we might as well adjust these other things. But I think that, I don't know. Jacob, do you think you could sell a flight that's formulated for women?
Not very well. And the thing is, with my, with my store, man, we kind of have a anti-pink tax kind of policy. So unless the information on said ingredients really lines up specifically for the female physiology, it probably would be something I would stay away from anyway.
Well, so Jacob, do you know the reasoning that regular flight can't be taken by women?
I don't actually know. I'm not that well versed in it yet.
So I am normally on the same board with you with the anti-pink tax, but in this case, there could be some exogenous hormones at play technically, possibly, and
Mhm.
we wouldn't.
There's
want
got to
any-
be. There's
Who
got to
wouldn't-
be.
Yeah.
I
Who wouldn't
stopped
want any of
taking
our? Yeah.
I
Just to
stopped
be
taking
clear,
it.
no women should be taking that product because I wake up with a fucking hard on like I'm 15 again every
Yeah.
night. When I seriously, sometimes I have to piss in the bath because I can't wait for it to go down to take a piss. Full disclosure.
Are
Sorry.
you taking
That's-
Alpha 365 too?
Ben, that was our first feedback from that thing. We're like, well, has anybody? Yeah,
We had
okay.
we had
Shane,
like this
Shane from
messaging.
Stat 3D literally hit me up because he just got his stuff. It's been sat in quarantine for like a month. And he was like, yo, after like 2 days, man, I was like rock hard again. I'm like, yeah.
There's got to
Listen-
be like something because I stopped taking it for like a week and a half, and then like sure enough, like you know, I then I was like, oh, you know, I'll start taking it again. Like a couple of days went by, and I was like, oh shit.
It was really funny
You know,
because Justin
there's
and I were like
something in it.
messaging, and we're like, are you getting an effect? Like,
Side effects.
yeah, like I've been getting this thing, and then like he's like, yeah, hell yeah. So then I text Nick, and Nick's like, oh my god, thank God, because I thought I was crazy.
Right.
Mm.
There's
That's
a lot
crazy.
of before and after pictures going on. There's a lot.
Oh yeah, where was I, man?
I'm glad I'm not in that group text. I don't want to be in that WhatsApp group. So
I need the invite, man. Shoot. So
I
wait,
don't
are
know,
we
maybe
referring
come
to?
out- Go ahead.
Oh, I was. So are we referring to Flight still, or are we talking about Alpha 365?
But this is Flight.
Okay, gotcha. I was about to say I have nothing but amazing things to say about Alpha 365 because
No, I take that too.
Yeah.
Every morning, and I think I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't use one without the other, which is a
I've
kind of a
just-
luxurious thing to do. But
Mhm.
I think that Alpha kind of balances out some of the things that's going on with Flight and just kind of sets the stage a little better. But
I can hear Eve, by the way.
Yeah, my dog is just losing her shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I actually ran Flight without 365. As someone that's on TRT, it just wasn't something that I felt like I needed to do.
Yeah.
But I can understand the reasoning though. I wouldn't. I mean, like on the same like realm of things, I wouldn't tell someone to take growth hormone without taking testosterone. Kind of, they both just go together.
Right.
Anyway, how Glaxon was formed, I mean, where this all comes from.
I mean, we kind of just made it up, you know.
It's,
kinda
it's
just
a weird
made it
one,
up.
right? It's
What's
a weird,
that?
It's a weird one. It's a
It-
very
yeah,
weird.
so it was like there's pieces that are like regurgitated from like really small store demand for a formula, like some retailer that has like 4 stores, 5 stores, like, hey, can you make me a product that's like this? Pieces of formulas that didn't make it because nobody wanted to pay that money to put it in. They did come to us for contract manufacturing, and you know, Joey would go balls to the wall, and that works almost never when it's somebody who's like trying to hit certain pricing tiers. You know, and then there's just a lot of shit that we made up. You know, now we've like set this stage up where we've like kind of put down so much that we're having trouble like keeping, like, whether it be a new name for a product or like a concept that's going to fit this dialogue and narrative. Like, we're already like kind of running into you know, a little bit of brain fog trying to come up with new stuff that fits. You know.
Where did the mascot come from? I don't know too many supplement companies have a mascot.
Okay, so that literally was made up in
August.
last August. So I mean, like, we had this name Glaxon that we wanted to use. We thought that the name was like really versatile. Just, it's easy to remember. Like, you can make a G out of it. Like, weird things like that. It looked good like on some mock-ups that TK did. And then TK kind of on his own, really. TK and Joey probably for the most part.
Yeah, this is some comic.
To
book
Sam's
nerd shit,
dismay,
but,
and
you know,
when it gets a little bit too much, but they like kind of ran with this narrative of this astronaut that like got lost at
well,
space.
we're in Houston, right? So it
Right.
kind of makes sense. Now
Mhm.
they went full nerdlinger with it. Like some fucking astronaut got lost in space and came back and knew how to make the best supplements on Earth.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's all good because I think it's a cool place to start, and then that will get refined like probably a little bit with each year. And I like to think of Glaxon like kind of becoming some kind of like Garfield character. I don't know if you ever read those comics, but just kind of like does what he wants, and he's entertaining to like see, and you don't forget the way it looks, and it's just like a layer to something. So I don't know. I think there's not a lot of brands that have a mascot, but like why not?
Garfield's a great analogy.
Yeah, it's like how did it take this long for someone to come up with like it's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, it's just it's like a really good marketing tool, and then it's like
also very trending right now.
Yeah, it's trending, and it's inspiration for us too, because
we're really from here. Okay, like we're really from Houston. We're not like some company in Florida.
We're from Houston.
Yeah. Hey, I'm an adopted son of Houston. Right? I got the American flag now. Right, I went to prison for this country. So anyway.
I have to say that's probably one of the most entertaining parts of Glaxon is like I've known Sam for years, and watching him
can't get rid of you.
Watching him integrate into this team is hilarious. like he's like, yeah, I love this team, and all of a sudden he's like, this comic book shit is too much. I can't handle this. And all of a sudden, like, no, this is awesome. It's very cool to see all of you guys mold.
I was literally designing hats with Glaxon on, like, refined a little bit. It's really cool. We'll send you one. Can you wear hats, or your head too big?
My hair's falling out, so I have to wear hats.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna send everyone on this podcast one of the hats. It's going to be a little like bathing ape style Glaxon. It's very cool. It was Michael's idea, and it looks good.
Nice.
Yeah,
gonna be dope.
I think it's just fun to watch you guys refine things and figure your way out. I keep on using this analogy with Mike about like comparing Glaxon to Elon Musk and Tesla, because he just kind of does like whatever the fuck he wants, and he improves things for the betterment of the world, not that they asked for it. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, there you go.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you see, we're thinking for like lapels and hats and stuff. So
go.
we're already expanding.
Anyway, back to where you were calling us Tesla.
Yeah.
Well, let me hear more about that. Right?
No, I think it's
like the
hilarious.
Dollar General Tesla, like the Dollar General Tesla.
It's just hilarious to me, like when he made that flamethrower just for the fuck of it to make more money for the company, or like he's building a new public transport. He just dug a hole in LA.
Yeah.
I can dig that narrative. I would never like own.
I know
it,
you
though.
can't assert that.
No, not even like close. But I will say, like as an analogy to a lot of the first products that we launched, like a lot of those are flamethrower products. They're really good. They do what they're supposed to do. They fill some of the more niche roles in the industry, and they'll probably continue to exist. But they're just like, those are the flamethrowers that are going to build our platform, and then we can do some of the things that we want to do, and hopefully enough of those things work.
We've made products for us, and now we have to kind of refine them a little bit for everyone else in some areas. Luckily, people have really got on board with what we're doing, and someone who I respect a lot said the other day, it reminded him of Muscle Tech in the mid-2000s, where it was like, this is unique, and this is like an experience, and this is like completely different formulas, but without the bullshit of Muscle Tech from that era. Okay, like it's not saying that Cell Tech is going to put on 50 pounds of muscle when it's creatine and sugar, but it's just different approach to formulation, backed up with science, with combining cutting edge ingredients with some of the true and tested stuff from like years ago. So we're kind of merging all aspects, because we have brought a couple of new ingredients out already.
Mm-hmm.
The fiber as an example.
We're like one of the first to bring some stuff out.
Yeah, delayed release nitric oxide. I don't think anyone's ever done that before.
What's that?
The DR nitrate.
Oh yeah, we've done DR
not.
first on several things.
No one makes good capsule-based pump products. Like yours was the first one. That's
it's awesome. I take it every day.
A capsule that didn't have Viagra in it as well.
Yeah, all right. There's no analog of Viagra in it. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think one thing, like Ben and I, it was early on in your whole process, and Ben and I kind of were like, holy shit. Like, is this, I think we have some, because, we talk about the same shit every fucking day, and the same formulas and the same dosages, and you're just regurgitating the same thing. And early on in your process, Ben and I kind of were having a conversation. We're like, dude, this is different, right? Yeah. Like, can we get
excited about this? I don't even talk about supplements anymore because everything is so boring. Like, I used to send him stuff and he'd be like, yeah, all right. But like when Glaxon started coming around, it was almost like, I don't know, I was like nervous to be excited about it because it's like,
right. We were like, can we get excited about this? Or are we going to get the banana and tailpipe thing?
It's like when you start dating a really hot girl, like, you know, at some point something's going to go wrong. Like, she's crazy in some way.
Don't
Sam
look
knows
at me,
what I'm talking about.
Don't look at me.
Like, and that's kind of like for a long time with Glaxon, I was like, there's got to be a hang up somewhere. Like, there's like,
oh, I'm sure there is. Like, I'm sure there is. Like, really, but you know, those are kind words. I think that was our intention, and I think we've done a really good job of pleasing you guys. You know, like really informed retailers, guys who have like really informed platforms that like go cover the whole industry.
Fans of the genre.
Yeah,
but now we have to take that from the fans like us to the mass market.
To be honest with you,
100%.
like, we can get you guys to love us with what we're doing. That's what we're good at, right? Like, this other thing that is coming is going to be like fusing that together. It's going to take a lot of creativity and a lot of hard work.
It's how do you get the mainstream success without selling out? And that's, you know, not a lot of people do. You can have one or the other, right? But then there's a small amount of people who can have both. And we're trying to be that group.
Yeah, but that's a big one. We talk about that a lot, Sam. Exactly what you're saying is something I talk a lot about. It's like, you know, when we have these conversations within the industry, and Ben and I talk, and Jacob and us guys, and we lose so many people in the middle of those conversations. And I try and always think of it. I try to keep myself in that spot where I used to be, you know, a few years ago when I didn't know anything. I try to remember what that's like for most people and try and, because that's right, you're exactly true. How do you bridge that gap in between? There's so many people, because if you're just talking to us, that's such a small percentage of the population that can benefit from this stuff. So how do we build that bridge to, I mean, you're talking like, you know, billion people potentially out there that could use supplements and could benefit from stuff like this. I think it's awesome that you guys are thinking like that.
Yeah, it's just weird. I think it's like kind of inverse to a traditional approach, maybe. I
mean, I think oh, go ahead.
No, continue.
Oh, well, no, I was just going to jump in and say, you know, what Justin was saying, kind of piggyback off of that. A lot of people are not in the industry and they don't know anything, you know, so how do we pull them in and get them excited? And I see Glaxon as the vehicle for that because, you know, I'll admit when you guys first hit the scene last year, I followed you not because of the supplements. It was because of the culture. I'm like, dude, these guys are doing marketing right. Like, they're building.
I had people say that it didn't represent gains. Someone said to me, and I went, "You're fucking right, it doesn't," because that's not what I was trying to do.
That person has since like changed up their branding a little bit.
That one. And I had someone say, "Oh, Glaxon's like gay," and I'm like, "Well, I mean,
hey, you were on the fence a little bit."
I mean,
on some, listen, it's 2020. So that's what I'm saying. We have it. Is people don't want to look like Jay Cutler anymore. They want to look like Conor McGregor, man. It's like when I go to the store and I buy myself a fucking organic broccoli. I tell this analogy over and over. I feel good because I'm like, yo, I just bought an organic broccoli. I'm going to cook it up. I'm going to get really fucking healthy. Then it sits in the fridge and it goes off in the trash. But I felt good. And that's what some people want. They want to buy their supplements and feel like, oh, I'm going to get like jacked. I'm going to get ripped. And then they don't do anything apart from eat Pop-Tarts and jerk off. Point is, they bought the fucking product. They drank it. They enjoyed it. And they're going to buy again next month. And I fuck with that.
Well, exactly. And that's like, so, I mean, we were talking about pre-workouts at the beginning. There's the hardcore, the people that want to look like Jay Cutler. There's that niche of the industry. There's a
very small niche now. Because when I was like 19, I'm like, I want to look like Jay. Now you'd say that to a kid now. What do you mean you want to look like that? No offense, Jay.
No.
I know him. He's a good guy. He's a great guy. The best guy in the industry, bar none. But not everyone wants to look like that anymore. They want to look like Conor McGregor.
Exactly. And I mean, that's, you know, there's the lifestyle category, there's the health and wellness and, you know, and whatever. So, I mean, I feel like you guys are kind of creating your own little category and that, you know, assuming you can reach more and more people within that, there you go. Which is awesome. So, I
mean, your branding, your store's branding, y'all have very similar. Y'all.
Hey, I'm in South Carolina. I understand that, Ligo.
Okay. You guys have a take on the way that you do your
use
marketing.
Guys, yeah, right.
That's not really normal, I think. And it works. Man. It's compelling, you know. It's fresh.
I appreciate that. I think that's why I aligned so well with what you guys are doing is the culture aspect. I say that every cast is culture, but you know, that goes a long way with a brand.
Mhm.
And, you know, I think just trying to do things differently, trying to stay in people's face. And the only way that it's hurting us right now, and I believe, is because we're all dudes and we have the most bro cultish kind of, you got to be one of the bros, you know, kind of vibe. So that's our biggest hindrance right now.
We just put a bunch of energy into trying not to do that.
Yeah, no, it's
Hard.
because it's funny, man. You know, like male on male, and the majority of our clientele is male, but still, I gotta take a step back and realize that, you know,
You own it pretty well with the jean shorts and like the
hey man,
commercials.
Jorts are life. All right. They will stay in style forever.
Well, that's the key, in my opinion, to operating a successful independent store, chain of stores, is you've got to make the experience. So you've got to make that customer drive the extra 5 minutes to avoid a GNC or a vitamin shop. Jersey Shore supplements, back in the dirty Jers, Brian Tweer is a perfect example. I would drive 20 minutes out of my way. I'd drive 45 minutes out of my way to go and see his store or their stores, because they treat me not like a customer, they treat me like family. Okay.
Yep.
And they fuck with me. They're always giving me new stuff. They don't sell any shitty products. There's nothing. They're not trying to talk to me about like, hey, you need to be buying C4, because you know I don't need to be buying C4, bro. So don't tell me to buy that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so
I
they'll be
used
like,
to
try
drive
this.
50 minutes to get Project AD from them, because they were
Yes.
the old, like, right. And that's another thing. They have exclusive partnerships with a lot of great brands that I can't get at GNC. I can't get at other stores in the area. So that's one way that they do some cool stuff. But
I see their t-shirts everywhere. You know how much
Yes.
I move around. I've been in like pretty much every state you can think of. Every gym I go into, there's a few t-shirts I see. Bodybuilding.com to this day, and Jersey Shore supplements. Literally, I've seen them in Europe. I've seen them in Vegas. Seen them in Cali. I've seen them obviously in Jersey.
they've spent tens of thousands of dollars getting those out there. They give them out for free. I've got like 3 of them.
Yeah. Oh, Brian sends me one every month. I'm like, keep sending them, please.
Yeah, I think one thing that you guys were talking about was culture, and one of my favorite things that happened with Glaxon was early on our forum started to just hate on the stuff you guys were bringing out between hybrid and specimen, and I was
how
starting.
dare you make a flamethrower?
Yeah, well, I was starting to get to know Joey for who he is, and I just sent him a message like, look, I don't know if you'd be interested, but we have these forums, and I'd love for you to make an appearance. And he went on there with that goon attitude, and I loved every second of it, because it was equal parts like, I'm here to help, but also if you fuck with me, like, I will tell you all go to hell. And
that's how Joey is. That's not that.
Yeah, it was amazing. I loved it, but it was part of, like, I don't know, that's what made that goon community for me. Like,
yeah, we're gonna have to put some work in on the goon terminology and like kind of.
It's on the t-shirt here, isn't it? But
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
We're gonna send all you guys some.
Well, we need to make some fucking big ones, because I'm literally barely squeezing into a fucking extra large.
Y'all are lucky I didn't wear the one that Ryan sent me today.
Skin tight, is it?
Oh, medium, baby.
Nice.
Oh, really?
Medium.
Well,
Nice.
you know, I think I asked Ryan to change the sizes after it was already shipped out, but we got them, and I was like, oh, hell yeah, I'm gonna wear this tonight on the cast. Well, and 30 minutes later, I realized I was giving my biceps occlusion training, so I was like, it's better.
It was sprayed on, you know.
Best I throw back on a normal, but
yeah, I don't know. We learned a lot in those first forum things. Nobody's gone off on any of our recent drops though, which is kind of disappointing, because it's like, if you want to come at us on the flamethrower, like, that's fine, but then come at us on everything else.
Yeah, I kind of, but I don't know. I got it with the specimen, because I even came to you and was like, what the fuck? Like, I look at it and I take it and it's not the same.
Well, I had the same reaction, which is why I started realizing, hey, whatever I thought I knew over my years of purchasing, I didn't really know anything until I was actually a manufacturer. Now I'm like, oh, okay. I know that if you use real Yihimbi, this is how this feels. Yeah. So I'm calling bullshit on so many brands out there. And it's not even a big thing. It's just, I know now people are paying $10 for $15 formulas. So it obviously isn't in there, is it, lads? Let's be real.
Well, yeah, that was early on in the process.
I don't even know if it's that.
Early on, when I started talking to you guys, and it was whoever was on your Instagram at the time, I got my specimen, and they were like, well, start with a half scoop. And I was like, yeah, okay. Never going to happen. And I took it. They're like, well, take it easy with it. And I took it, went to the gym, and I was at the gym, and I was like,
Feeling good.
Okay. Yeah.
Feeling good.
I guess like they're onto something here, which is cool.
Yeah.
And that's the thing where we get into this whole giant shit fest that gets us nowhere is when we argue about dosages and things like that. That's where we lose so many people in the process anyway.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know. I don't even know why people bother. It's pre-workout. It's a stimulant pre-workout.
Right.
Like 12.6 gram scoop. Like, you know,
Yep.
This is what it costs.
It's an hour out of your day. Just relax a little bit.
What I like about it is it makes me feel good for many, many hours afterwards. So if I had taken it today and worked out, which I didn't because I'm a fat fuck at the moment. If I had done that and come on here, I would have been so much more fluid and I would have felt great because it just, I think it's the niacin and the halostasine just keeps this thing going and going and going.
There's something there. I don't know. There's something there. Maybe it's like that post flush. You just don't feel that like kind of weird, like cloudy,
there's no crash
stuffy feeling that you
like
get. I don't really know.
I kind of want to take some right now.
Yeah, I know, right? It sounds that Texas red flavor as well.
Sounds really good. I have some right over there. So
I think there's definitely something to be said for like what Mike was talking about before. It's an experience now because a lot of people are obsessed. These pre-workouts are going to improve their performance so much. Then the fact really is that it's not going to have that much of a profound difference. It's going to be more of you're chasing an experience or a feeling.
That was literally the narrative of the conversation that Joey and I had when we were like costing that product out and then like getting samples made and stuff. It was literally like, all right, well, you know, if we can cater an experience for someone, that experience in and of itself is going to do work like for this goal. Like, you know, the raw materials, like, okay, it's clinically going to do this or that or whatever. But if the feeling of the raw materials like gives you an experience often enough, consistent enough, like that's going to push things in the right direction. And I don't know, like that was our response. We were not expecting it to get as overwhelming of a response. We were expecting it to sell more than everything else just because of the categories and the way that like people purchase in stores like Jacob's. And, you know, maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's just that people don't pay the Supps facts any mind. And then they're like, what the fuck? You know, I really don't know. Or it's just that like culmination of like this, we've just contrived you like this situation where you're going to feel a lot of shit at one time.
Is there like any brands or like products, as we talk about how cool you guys are all the time on, is there like other brands that like sort of maybe push you to keep going or stuff that you see and you're like, man, that's fucking cool? Because one thing I like is we've sort of gotten away from this whole thing where no one can admit that anyone else is doing anything of any value whatsoever. Or, you know, you see brands are like, okay, that's cool, like what they're doing. Or like, I would take stuff like
no,
that.
I mean, like I get sent stuff by other people all the time. And if you follow me on Facebook, you'll see that I do unboxing. If you see me post about it again, I liked it. If you don't, I didn't. So I'm not going to say anything bad about the product. If I, you know, drinking NutriBio Alpha EAA, which I think Ben Kane actually formulated.
I didn't formulate it specifically, but it was my idea.
Okay, well, dragon fruit candy, drinking it right now. Obviously, that goes without saying. NutriBio push the envelope in terms of transparency and quality for me. And then I don't really watch what Ghost does particularly, apart from their branding and their overall marketing in terms of like just the polished level they present at. It's almost like a candy bar in the supplement industry in terms of the level of professionalism in the packaging and the execution. Okay. And that very much to me, you know, I look at it and I'm like, that's a very good quality product. And then on the other side, people like Morphogen under the radar a little bit. You guys keep talking about it. Formula wise, they definitely, you know, doing some interesting, unique stuff. You know, would I buy that product if I wasn't educated? I don't know. The packaging's a little bit vanilla for me. I like quite sexy branding. So, you know, that's what I try and do. I think we're trying to bring the quality, the transparency, the sexiness, and the delivery. So, you know, I think we're probably a 7 out of 10 at the moment, and we could probably be a 9 out of 10 in the next 12 to 18 months.
Yeah. I don't know. There's lots of brands that I look at and like really get into what they're doing, but not many of them are sports supplement based supplement companies.
That's
I was gonna say, like, do you look outside the industry? I think most good brands within your industry, you look outside.
Mhm.
A lot of, I think, small companies, their big mistake is they look at other supplement
Too
companies.
insular, way too
Right.
insular.
Where you should, you want to look outside the supplement
We
industry.
get flavor ideas from going to like bougie fucking boutique supermarkets and central markets and places like that, and we're like, oh hey, like cotton candy fucking dairy products and stuff, like just unique flavors, like really unique stuff going on. So we get inspiration from places like that. Apparel, we look at some of the things that they're doing. This t-shirt was inspired by a very artsy European brand. So like we're looking all over the place. And then we got Joey and TK taking inspiration from very different areas to myself. So
What are you guys' favorite non-supplement, like sports supplement brand?
Non-sports supplement.
So like dietary supplements, but not sports supplement based.
Checkmate.
Oh,
no one's got an answer for
It's been
that.
so long since I've had to deal with any of that.
Oh
Does
wow.
life extension count?
Yes.
Yeah.
Counts.
Life
I'll tell you what,
extension for me.
there is a
Companies that don't have
skincare
pre-workouts.
company,
Let's narrow it down.
skin company. It replicates the biome of your skin, and it's like a shampoo. It's called Mother Dirt, is what it's called.
That's an awesome name.
Yeah, Mother Dirt. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think there's a lot of parallels. Like my wife is really into like makeup and things like that. Like if you go through, I like walk by like the stuff she has. I'm like, damn, that's pretty fucking cool. Like you see the packaging and the way it's sort of presented. I'm like, yeah, that's that. You can, like you said, same kind of thing. You can sort of draw inspiration from.
100%.
Illy coffee. Illy coffee is the cleanest packaging.
Coffee is a good one.
Illy
yeah,
coffee. The Italian coffee is the
yeah.
cleanest thing you've ever seen. Yeah,
like
the
that.
steel.
No, I know.
Aluminum,
I just don't like the coffee. But...
aluminum tub, aluminium tub. Yeah, that's the cleanest packaging, I think. Period. I don't get inspiration from sneakers like some brands, to be honest, but that's no.
Yeah.
I do, but not in the sneaker portion, but the hype and the way that they move the product, like the drops and stuff like that. I think that is a very cool concept. But not specifically the sneakers. I mean, I'm a Jordan collector, but I'm not that way.
Did you watch The Last Dance?
I have it on my list to watch. I am very interested in it. I hear it's wild.
Yeah, maybe you guys aren't Sam's not a basketball person. He doesn't care.
Mate, we play a game with our feet where I come from. So
we play that too.
Put me a documentary on about Ronaldo or Messi, I'll watch it. But I didn't even know who Michael Jackson was. Michael Jackson? Michael Jordan. I didn't even know who the fuck he was until like 10 minutes ago.
Nick Price in the comments brought up Revive MD, who I know Justin isn't the biggest fan of them as a whole, but I think like their brand, I think they've done something really cool with their brand.
Really
in terms,
expensive, and they don't do anything really.
The pricing is kind of high.
Not like it is.
But I have to be honest, dude. Like I keep harping on this one. Their acne scrub took me from having zits to not having zits. Like that was like bizarre for me. That
did your like
my lifestyle change?
Did your TRT change like
it's
during
been
quarantine?
Constant. Yeah,
it's constant.
It's
so
during the time that happened.
You didn't reduce anything that would cause acne during.
No, during the time that I did, because I knew that would be a variable. Yeah. I did it during the time that was constant. Nothing else changed in my life. And scrubs like that don't really work for me. And for a dietary supplement company to make that gap to cosmetics, that was wild.
Why not? I
bold.
like that. I'm down with that. I think that's cool.
Was pretty cool.
Because it's all the same thing. I mean, like half the shit we're selling or trying to sell, it's like people are taking it for vanity.
Yeah.
Like you sell a health product and they don't want it.
I'll give y'all my brand right here.
Yeah. But that's not fair, man.
Shout out Jeremy.
Not really. No, my one of my buddies, he used to be with Glambia. He's now with them, and I do have to say they take a very intriguing approach to multiple avenues. Not only
I have a little bit of like a personal connection with people involved in that brand. So
well,
when I lived in Vegas, so what I would say is it works for a certain demographic, but if you want to, I believe the end goal is to divest that brand to a big pharmaceutical company, and I'm not sure a GSK or anyone like that will be able to acquire a company like that while it still markets like the way they do.
Right.
Their apparel is fucking amazing, by the way. I've been lucky enough I've gone to Dan's house before and I've been given some apparel. Amazing stuff. The best apparel bar none.
I think
know what it is.
esports has a very interesting community and marketing around it. I just recently during this quarantine started to obsess over Call of Duty because I have nothing else to do with my life. And like investing in like a special keyboard and mouse and stuff. I was kind of
Oh wow, you went full nerd.
it was like $60, you know, and it made me way better at the game. It's something for me to do with my time. But yeah, I started getting the box. I'm like, this is wild. I didn't know people. I mean, obviously people are gonna put this much time and money into it, but I never considered that. There's tons of money in that industry.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
We're
Which is
working on something. We
yeah,
are
I was gonna
working on
say,
something.
Mike and I had a fun conversation. He was like, "What do you think about a gaming supplement from Glaxon?" I was like, "You have Adrenal. Like, what's the difference?" But then I really would love to see Joey do something for like reaction time and decision making skills.
Yeah, it's not that I want to be able to drink like a very nice tasting beverage in the morning that isn't part of the Pepsi Cola company. I think he's got enough money.
Then
right?
there's like are you making an energy drink or are you making a gaming product? Because like there's two sides of our branding where it would be like we'd come out with a gaming product and it would be like kind of expensive and it would like really be a gaming product. Like we'd be like, oh no, this will increase your reaction time because like we put this in here and Joey found this and like all these kind of like thought out things for gaming. But I think what the gaming community really wants is just like a beverage to sip on that gives them stimulation.
And a placebo effect.
Yeah.
I must just be really
like you might be able to
selfish 'cause
sneak some stuff into it that like would improve things and then maybe they'd favor like that experience. But like, I don't know. I feel like you give Adrenal to a gamer and they're probably so stemmed out already that they wouldn't know the difference. And then they want like that, like, all right, in between games, I'm going to drink my ice cold, like, you know, energy beverage.
It kind of goes, the can and stuff kind of just goes with the accessories that these people put together for their little kit, right? That they to play the game. So I don't think like a capsule product really sort of fits into that because it's like, well,
it's a ritual.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Exactly.
like the ritual of going to watch the fucking fights or the foosball or whatever you guys are watching with the beers and the wings and stuff like that. So
true.
I'm like, and this might be again, Mike, where you make people like us love Glaxon. It's like I absolutely want that first option instead of the energy supplement. Like I want to know how much more efficient you could make me. That excites me way more. But I'm not the normal consumer.
Well, I want it too, so it'll happen in some way. But I think that it's just going to be like we're going to have to be super creative and thoughtful to cater like to the right markets and come out with the things that like matter to us. Like our products, like I'll take all of them at any time that I want to, you know, and that's, I don't know if that's normal or not, but like I wouldn't, if I know what my products do, there's no reason for me to search for something else. And like, I'm, you know, kind of filling in those gaps with like just personal wants. So if we did come out with a gaming product or a product for reaction time, or maybe it's a product that's like for gamers and for hunters and for, you know, there's different ways.
So Texas of you for hunters.
This country hunts. It's not
hey,
like
man, I was gonna say down here in South Carolina, it's 24/7, baby.
We did have a hunting like brand mocked up at one point in time.
When I got asked to go hunting in Montana, they're like, right, lad, you got to be up at like 4:30 in the morning. We're going to throw fucking moose piss. We're going to throw moose piss all over you. And then we're going to go sit in like negative 40 degree and wait for
it's fun.
Yeah, but in Texas, you guys sit in helicopters and shoot hogs with assault rifles. Like, it's not the same.
There's some privileged people that like have tons of property that like get in helicopters and kill
Branch
the
Warren
hogs.
does that.
What's that?
Brian, who owns Metroflex, and Branch Warren, and the guy who owns Destination, the I think Henrik, I think his name is.
It's a real thing.
So the hogs are parasites. Like they're like they've taken over.
No, they'll fuck you up.
Well, yeah, they destroy like everything.
Yeah,
they destroy everything. They destroy walls and fences, and they multiply very, very fast. And so they're like, I don't think there's a rule on how many you can kill.
Yeah. That's how
you can just slaughter them and leave them.
That's how it is with coyotes out here. The state will actually pay you to kill coyotes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean they're just that overpopulated. So
we could test out a hunting supplement from Glaxon and make some money at the same time.
Boom.
We go up there.
Win-win.
I like that.
No, to speak on Ben's, you know, what he was saying about a gaming supplement, like objective data, right? Like
Mhm.
per the formula. What if there was a way to formulate your product and somehow conduct a, I don't know, brand wide study with your customers, like a reaction test or something, and measure those values? And it wouldn't be
Oh,
a
yeah.
study,
We're
but
doing that every day.
yeah,
with
I mean,
everything we sell now.
yeah, I was going to say, like, to be able to use that as on the back end as a marketing, to push said product. I don't know how that would work. But it wouldn't be a
Yeah.
study by any means, but just a thought.
It'd be anecdotal as opposed to
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna find
Yeah.
out because like there's like a season 2 to this thing, and a lot of things that we've seen and watched and like feedback, and that's gonna come into play, and there's gonna be that like kind of logic that you're talking about behind like additions or changes or whatever.
Mhm.
To do that with a so you're talking about like batch testing out like a whole
Well,
like wide amount.
I was, what if there was some kind of program that you could utilize to measure reaction time, for example?
Well,
And
there'd be an app, and you'd do the test, and then you'd compare
Right.
it before and after, and you'd be able to qualify that data and
Mhm.
quantify it. And there is ways to do it. I mean,
Right.
And then
there
we
is
would
ways.
end up with a room full of people just like us
It'd
that
be
want to
done
buy
on
the
an app.
product.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
And then, that would be awesome. And I'd probably like all those people. And then we would just never reach most people.
That's a good point. Very good point.
I don't know. I'm really down for when I come down to Texas, us taking the product and going hog hunting. I think that's...
maybe we could do something. I mean, I have friends who literally they buy tannerite. I don't know if you know what tannerite is.
I do.
Oh yeah.
Explosive that you can buy at Walmart, and they bait in like a lot of hogs, like 30, 40, 50 hogs, and then they shoot the tannerite from like 200 yards away, and it blows up and all the hogs die. And if you Google this, like you just Google tannerite and hogs, and you will find a nice collection of I don't know what you call that, but
wow.
I think it's called gore porn, is what that's called. And that's
yeah, it is
70 hogs down in one explosion.
Wow.
There he goes.
Pig bomb.
I wonder if
pig
they go
population
flying.
control.
Sounds like a night out in Seaside Heights. That does to me. 70 hogs down.
Yeah.
I'm just saying though, if it's too early in the morning, I'm not gonna go. So
yeah.
Sam and I'll meet you for lunch, I think, probably.
Yeah, bring the hog. We'll cook it.
This is insane.
I'm seeing them.
I mean, I know people in New Jersey hunt a lot, and I know people in New York because I have a buddy that lives in New Jersey.
There's a lot of hunting here.
It's flown up to go hunting in upstate New York, and it's like it's more crazy than it is here because it's like Catskills, and you're like going up.
You go 20 minutes anywhere in Jersey, any direction. You're in Delaware, right? So I used to go to Christiana Mall when I lived in South Jersey, drive over the bridge. I used to go to Wilmington. Like my friend works at Firestone, and he used to run that place. Anyway, you go 20 minutes in any direction, with the exception of maybe Northern Jersey, where it's a little bit more like NYC. South Jersey, you go like 15, 20 minutes in Salem County or something. You're in the most redneck place. You'll be seeing the South flags. The South will rise again. And I'm like, hold on a minute. You're a Yank. What are you talking about? Like,
it's very surprising. I know I spent a lot of time in South Jersey. I actually grew up in northwestern Pennsylvania. Same thing. All hunting. Like.
I'll give PA though. PA is a wild state, whereas
he is wild.
New Jersey isn't to me. It's like the Garden State. It's one of the original places where it's the most built up and urbanized parts of the country, really, on the East Coast. But it's weird. You just go 10, 15 minutes inland any direction, and you turn up to some really hick kind of.
You sure do.
Yeah, I mean, Ben, I'm serious. It's bizarre.
Oh, I know.
Townships.
Banged up pickup trucks and then that like horrible duck camo which people wear and chewing tobacco and fucking char and whatever. Yeah, crazy.
One of my buddies showed up to the gym the other day with a deer skull for me. He was like, "Hey, you should hang this in your apartment. You don't have a lot of things on the walls, as you can tell."
It's like a European mount, just a skull on a piece of wood or something.
Yeah, it was just a skull.
Oh,
it
nice.
was just.
Oh, so he found it. He found it.
No. He killed it.
Oh, he did.
Yeah. He killed so many deer that he was just like, "Hey, I didn't want this one." It's like maybe a 6-pointer. It's
kind of morbid to me, that shit is. Just hang this skull up.
I walk a fine line. Yeah, like I love animals.
Yeah.
But like,
I like looking at deer alive running around and shit. Like I don't want to fucking put a
but like
skull
I'm also
on.
like looking at the teeth. I'm like, this is really crazy. Like it's all here, like
one of the most fucked up things I ever saw was in a place called the Orkney Islands, which is off the tip of Scotland. It's kind of like Viking country, rune stones and fucking all that Celtic shit. Fucking dead seals everywhere, dude. Someone been shooting seals, and you should see the fucking tusks on those things. Yeah, I know.
That would have a problem with, but like the deer, Like it's actually
It's
like
Bambi,
a whole
bro. What are you
no, but
talking
it's all
about?
like
Fucking deer. Like,
Yeah, but
it's
we
a
eat it.
management thing because
We
Yeah.
eat it.
I'll
We manage the population and we eat it. So like, I
Yeah.
don't have a problem with that.
yeah,
I'll eat it. Definitely.
like
but
I've
don't
never
expect
killed
me
a
to
deer that I
kill
haven't
it.
eaten.
Expect me to kill it though.
But you know, like they're not from here. You know, at least in Texas, like, and they grow and they multiply faster. They
So
don't
we have to
enough
harvest
predators.
them. Yeah.
Well, no, but there's like a land management thing that goes into it. I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Get rid of 1 million deer, like, and just wipe them out because they're not supposed to be here? Or
We want to talk about management. Somehow, this is a wild thing. Somehow deer swam from New Jersey to Staten Island. This is a real thing. And Staten Island like does not allow hunting. It's
New York, bro.
Oh, I've
New
heard
York.
about this. I've heard about this, and they're
So-
all in there.
So there's tons of deer in the city. It's really weird. And this is and this is a little bit where my libertarian conservative side comes out. New York was
Well, hell.
New York was so anti-gun that they employed people to fly with helicopters above the city with thermal imaging to find the deer, go in, abduct the deer, take them to vets, have them neutered, and put them back in the city where they can't procreate.
Nah.
Instead of just giving hunting licenses.
No, that didn't happen.
I swear to God.
That didn't happen. Come on.
I swear to God. It's New York. It's like, you have to believe that.
Fuck. That's crazy, dude.
That's,
I mean, it is Staten Island, which is the worst of all the fucking boroughs. So let's be
And like in Texas, they'd be like, we're getting the helicopter and shooting them in the middle of the
Oh yeah,
street.
100%.
You know,
See people that are saying that.
All that stuff was developed here, though. All that those management practices and stuff like that. I think it's really like here. It's wild. Like it's wild. People have high fence properties with like all different kinds of exotic animal. What's that?
Still get in though, don't they? Those motherfuckers, like, they still get in. I had 5-foot fences, and they used to get into my.
Well, no, but there's like generations that have gone into like breeding out genetics and like killing out weak ones, and like, you know, people who have like PhDs in it. And then in New York, New Jersey, I know from hunting in New York, like it's completely different. There's no like high fencing is not allowed. You can't bait them at all. Like, you know, you have to like literally grow food that they'll come and eat, and that's it. Like there's no corn or feed or anything. I can't believe we're talking about hunting.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to ask, it's been an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but I felt like significant, like I felt capsules hit me at 2 points. I felt like a wave over my head. People in the chat were saying that Jacob and I looked like almost kind of stoned.
I felt a very euphoric / talkative bit up front, but also I even commented, I was like, I feel like I'm like veering into different topics, like as you know, like as I'm trying to explain myself. And then now I do feel like almost a warmness, like almost like a vasodilated effect, and just kind of chill. So,
but you feel good.
I feel decent. Yeah. I mean, no complaints.
When are we going to start talking about monkeys and, you know, massive fucking
how do you feel,
monkeys in the
Justin?
jungle wanking and stuff like Joe Rogan style?
There you go.
Oh, there's monkeys in the jungle.
Well,
like,
man, we don't have
after
a
20 minutes. I felt the same as like after I take Serenity. After about maybe like an hour and 15 minutes of Serenity, I start to get like a little bit of a head rush. That's how I felt after about 20 minutes. I was just kind of sitting there. I was like, okay, I remember this feeling from taking Serenity, but now just kind of good to go.
The head rush was very, very profound. I felt like almost like vasodilation in my brain.
Vasodilation of the brain.
That's a shirt right there.
I just felt very warm. I felt like my mind expand for a little bit. Yeah, that was interesting.
Awesome.
I was expecting a yo-yo blend. I'm going to say it.
No. We discussed giving one person like a gram niacin capsule.
Russian roulette, yeah. And it would have been me, wouldn't it? It would have been.
There was like some people here who, not myself, that were like, "Yeah, we should just do it. Like this, so on brand. It'll be hilarious." And I was like, you know, you ruin someone's evening, and like you don't know like what's gonna happen. Like I was like, we're gonna do that, and then Ben will be the guy that gets it, and he'll just be like purple and pissed.
Yeah.
I don't know how long that's going to go.
Just for the record, I can be that guy. Don't worry about it.
I was going to say, just my luck.
Justin could probably handle it. Like, I don't know Jacob well enough, but like.
I love surprises.
I would sweat through it. You ever see that gif of like Key and Peele where they're like sweating buckets?
Yeah.
That would be me.
Fine. Keep on.
I'd go with it.
Did you ever tell them about the time we fucked up on a sample, which I tried? instead of 30 mgs, we put like 300 mgs in of what was it, hegelamine? The one which makes you sweat, right?
That's a synephrine derivative, isn't it? So yeah.
Oh yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, it was something like it was
It
meant
was
to be
last summer or something like that, and Sam was like being like really insistent, like, "Hey, I need to try this formula today," and you know, if Joey's like doing something like that in the stirs by himself, usually it's like all weighed out. Stuff that's weighed in milligrams like goes into this special scale that's like on a very expensive piece of marble, so it's grounded, and then you close the air off. And
Yeah.
you can weigh stuff
we were
by
winging this one.
Yeah, so
it was
Joey was like, "Oh, hegelamine," you know, like
meant to be 30 mgs came through.
Yeah,
at like
yeah,
300. And then Mike was like, "Sam, don't take that sample." I mean, I went, "What?"
Because I sipped it. I
sipped
sipped it. Like they brought it to me to sip it, and then you know, like 15 minutes after sipping it, I'm like, "Hey, can you send me the supplement facts to that thing? I need to see what's in it." And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, "Joey, did you weigh this out?" Like, and he was like, "Oh no, I just like kind of winged it or whatever." And I was like, "Oh fuck, Sam just left to go to Alpha Elite. Like he's gonna freak out in there."
Dude, I was sweating like, I mean, it's meant to be 30 mgs, and I took 300 on top of everything else. So.
Sam came back, and it looked like he had put his clothes on and gotten into the shower and just like gotten out.
It was bad.
That was good, because that's one thing I was going to ask you is you guys do a lot of testing and have a lot of, has there ever just been one where you're just like, that was going to be one of my questions, where it was just like a fucking disaster and everyone's like, wow, like this went horribly, horribly wrong.
That happens most of the time. Like when we're trying to do stuff, because it's like usually we're trying to do something like that's pushing the envelope of like maybe something you don't see done very often that probably has reasons for why it's not done very often, because it's like doesn't work, you know, or we're just like because we can. And yeah, that's happened a bunch. I don't participate in the ones that like I think are gonna cause that kind of problem anymore, because I'm not trying to go home to like two little kids and just be like sweating and like tense. But yeah, Sam's been a champ when it comes to that kind of stuff.
When I was at Nutril, we had these Yohimbe caps, and they used to. That's the kind of the important learning lesson here. We used to have 8 milligram Yohimbe caps, and they were naturally derived Yohimbe as opposed to Yohimbine, which would be synthetic. And the idea was that we thought Yohimbe HCl was like way stronger than this naturally derived Yohimbe. And that's why we had it at 8 milligrams. And I took it once and I was like having a panic attack, anxiety, like it was so bad. And I went back to Mark and I was like, I don't think we should be selling these because we're marketing them as like sexual help for elderly men.
No one's getting laid.
Do the opposite. Like someone's gonna have a panic attack.
Yeah. And Mark was like, we've never had a complaint. Like in all the years we've had it, no one's ever complained. And like, I just kind of joked that like, I thought the people that might've complained might've been dead because it was like that strong. Like it was so incredibly strong. And Mark didn't believe me for probably about 2 years until one day I convinced him to take one of the capsules. And he took it, like went into his office to start working. And probably 25 minutes later came out of the office with nothing on but his shorts. And he was red, like just like as red as I get, but he's not as red as me. And he actually drove home to go take a cold shower. And Mark has one of those AMGs with the bi-turbo V10, whatever.
With a red interior. It's very nice.
It's insane. And he parked it, but forgot to put it in park when he ran into the house. And the car actually drove away. And he had to run after and like it was just an absolute mess. He came back like 5 hours later. And I'm pretty sure they cut the dose in half after that.
Like, this is just Yohimbe bark? What was it?
Yeah, it was like just a ridiculous Yohimbe alkaloid pill.
They still sell it?
At half the dose.
At half. All right.
Yeah, it's funny. One of the companies you used to work for, I won't mention their name because they're very litigious. They had a product at one point which the dose was like 5 capsules, but it was meant to be taken like try 1 and then 2. But the way the subfacts panel was like just take 5. So it's first thing in the morning. I just bought it, so I ate the 5. Started feeling like absolute dog shite. So I'm in a fucking bath, shivering in a hot bath, dude, trying to like get this shit out of my system. It turns out that was like the max dose you could ever take under any circumstances. And I think it was like 10 mgs of Yohimbe plus a load of caffeine. It was fucking horrible.
I think that's like a problem in this industry is like misleading directions or directions that make people like.
Well, and everyone goes overboard too. Like no one follows what it says anyway. So it's like you always have to like. I mean, I get people all the time. They're like, "Well, I took 2.5 scoops of this," and it's like, well. I don't do that. Like, I don't, I mean, if a scoop is one scoop, if I can't get the full effects from one scoop, then I don't take more. It's just the way it goes. And people will just be like, well, I just take it until I feel something. It's like, fuck, like, how do you explain to someone how to use it if that's the mentality of a lot of people?
I mean, I have done that before when I was a little pygmy back in the day with ecstasy pills. Oh, one's done nothing, two's done nothing, 5. Next thing you know, I am fucking out for 3 days. So yeah, it's I've learned my lesson from fucking.
Right, same here. I mean, I've done it before. I think Jacked was the last time I did something like that, and I don't do it anymore.
I don't condone drug use, by the way. I'm just saying this.
I was helping someone with a GDA the other day, and the directions was like take 3 capsules, and I was like, when? Like, this is so, like, you could make someone go hypo with a formula like this, you need to tell them like with a large meal or with 75 grams of carbs. Like, that's important for a lot of people. And it's funny. I think Mike and I talk about compliance more than anything. And like,
riveting pillow talk you guys have got going on. Compliance all night,
But seriously, I mean, like,
no, I mean, that's just as like important in the branding as like reaching markets outside of like the super niche, like influenced markets that like, like that's another thing.
Yeah.
How to label a product.
Yeah, because that's a big thing too. We forget the questions that regular people ask when it comes to this stuff. I mean, people will go, what is caffeine? Or like, can I take, like, what is this? They'll ask questions about the capsules before they ask anything about the ingredients. And it's very like eye-opening when you talk to people that are, just general, that have never, but they still want to try the supplements. It's like, holy shit, it's eye-opening.
Sam sent me a label 2 nights ago. That was beautiful. It was gorgeous. It was very unique. It didn't even say dietary supplement or the bottle weight on it.
Oh yeah.
Like how it's super cool. Awesome. Got to get the tip my hat to the guy. But like the FDA will knock on your door if they haven't already.
Yeah. You basics. It's amazing how people don't know the basics about claims, about all this stuff. And
well, Jacob, you can answer this.
What's up?
Do you guys care?
Oh yes, very much so.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do your competitors care?
Not at all, and that's what makes us different. But I mean, as far as are we talking about like a label layout and?
I'm talking about like label layout, misspellings, no dietary ingredient, obviously not compliant. I don't care if it's a gray area supplement, like in some store wants to carry that, but like if it's if it says that it's 30 scoops and they all weigh 10 grams and then the product weighs 150 and like they just don't care and sell it that way anyway because it's really
usually what happens is what happens with that kind of situation is we don't know bringing the brand in. We bring in like a very small batch to test out, and if we decide to sell it, it usually takes a month or 2 for us to realize an inconsistency in the formula of some kind because our customers give us feedback. But usually after the 3rd strike, customer reporting something like, man, last month I took this, freaking amazing. This month I came in, got the same thing. It's like, I don't notice the difference, nothing at all. Usually after 3 occurrences, they're out the door. But also, right when you walk into my store, there's a big 4x6 sign on the wall and it says, we refuse to sell. And there's 10 things, basically just go down a list. If you're looking for sketchy stuff, SARMs, pro hormones, drugs, any kind of,
Dear Velvet.
Yeah, that's on my wall too. Yeah,
I know, I remember.
Yeah,
I've seen
it. Yeah. So that kind of stuff, there's a hard line. Now, obviously there's still retailers out there who are just trying to get the best margin, but that's, a totally different category in my opinion.
I think the consumer demand is changing a little bit.
No doubt.
Do you guys think Deer Velvet would work better in a DR cap?
No.
I feel like after like experiencing flight with DR caps, I'm like, I need to try everything again.
Everything
I want to know is why.
The world is open.
Been there, done that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, to be honest, like what's in Deer Velvet.
It wasn't that just some bollocks they said to get around.
Supposed to be like people alleged that it was like IGF-1 type of like.
Well, so it's there's only one study on it, by the way, and it's a correlative study between post-surgery recovery. I think it had nothing to do with athletic performance. And also like a little background, because I've had to tell this story to a lot of customers. The specific deer that it came from is I think it's Norwegian. Apparently their antlers do
Those
regenerate.
Nordics are just better at everything. They're
Yeah.
just better at
Well, yeah,
everything.
their antlers do have a higher regeneration rate, like so they grow back at a faster rate than any other, deer on the planet.
Okay.
Apparently, looking at the structure of said antler, we, like you guys said, IGF-1 or something. But the problem is, whoever took it and ran with it, they just jumped into sports nutrition.
So I have a friend who plays in the NFL, and he told me when we were fucking drunk one time, it's like, oh yeah, everyone's on HGH. Okay. Now, that was what he told me, and that was in 2013. So that was around the time, I think it was it RJ? Was that the guy? I'm trying to think about American sports a little bit. Who was the player who used it to recover in the NFL?
Lewis.
A lot of them, yeah.
It was Ray Lewis was the big one.
All right, yeah. So I think that was just some ruse, just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
That's the supplement I took, like when a UFC fighter pops for like a SARM. Oh, it was in a fucking vitamin. No, it wasn't.
You guys remember when Cam Newton broke his neck in a car accident and started the next year, like 9 months later? Like that dude wasn't taking ibuprofen.
Yeah,
it just wasn't.
Well, I mean, they're all, I look at things like professional sports under the guise of they're all doing it, right? Yeah. It's just a matter of how well can you hide it, how well can you, prevent yourself from pissing hot. Using deer antler or what other kind of SARM, whatever, as a mask to say, oh, that's why I pissed hot. But maybe I'm a conspiracy.
Yeah, that's kind of scary to think about, like someone doing that.
Well,
someone like taking flight and being like, oh, well, I was just taking this product and that's like why I have Anavar in my blood, or some kind of shit like that.
Well, that's why our UFC fighter doesn't take any of them things, bro. You are not allowed to take anything apart from aminos. All right, Brock, if you're listening.
The best one was last year, the CrossFit athlete that swore that she got, I think it was MK677 through her husband's semen, because he was supplementing, and apparently through unprotected sex, she absorbed his. I swear to God,
she absorbed his soul as well. I'm sure.
Yeah.
So sucked his soul out.
I forget her name. It was no, it was a CrossFitter. A whole bunch of them got popped, and that was one. The other one said that her mom had breast cancer, and she accidentally dropped some of her breast cancer drugs into a fettuccine dish that she was eating. Like I wouldn't be able to say that with a straight face.
I love you remember the pasta dish specifically. It was fettuccine. I love how you remember that one.
It was so dumb to me that I was like, that is hilarious.
I remember it like it was yesterday. The fettuccine was hot. Yeah. The oxandrolone was hotter.
Yeah,
or what's his name in the UFC that popped for
Romero. Yoel Romero.
Is it the Garden of Life one? The one that took the multivitamin?
The Gaspari athlete. The NutriBio. Oh,
I'm
no,
not talking about that one. Diaz.
Nate Diaz, Ligandrol. From a vegan vitamin, I actually don't believe Nate Diaz
they determined
takes any
that
drugs, apart from
Ligandrol's just in everything because everything's contaminated. Is that what that was?
Well, they determined that Jorge Masvidal versus Nate Diaz was the biggest fight in fucking the last 5 years, so it's going ahead anyway. Shut the fuck up, get on with it. That's what they determined. So
I think that Nate bought drugs from someone that was giving him not the right drug, and he didn't have the right detection time because he didn't know he was taking Ligandrol.
I just don't see that pothead taking something like that. I mean, he's a triathlete runner and stuff. It's just I don't think Nate Diaz is that kind of person personally.
I think he thought he was taking GW for endurance. I think that's what he was doing.
Carterin, yeah.
Yeah, and I think happens all the time. Chicks think they're getting Anavar, they're getting D-ball, and all of a sudden they look like a dude.
Yeah, Winnie, yeah.
Wasn't this kind of like the tough part of this whole thing is, you get people constantly asking about supplements, but
it doesn't help when a lot of people who are promoting supplements on their platforms are fucking juiced up to the eyeballs, claiming that they're natty or claiming that they're TRT or whatever the fuck.
Right.
Come on, you ain't fooling anyone.
There's a whole huge part of the puzzle that is totally missed all the time. It's like, because when I ask people, they'll ask me for something for whatever is afflicting them at the time. And I'll say, well, what else do you take? It's a very important part of the conversation. I always tell people, I was like, if you don't hear someone ask like, well, what else are you taking? It's probably not a good idea. And people will tell me what they take. And I'm less like, sometimes I read it and I'm going, why you? I don't know. Like, why? Don't even bother. Like, just add something else. But it's just constantly I see people, and it's not that right, I'm better or worse than anybody else, but I'm just a normal person, just taking regular shit, some supplements. And it's like, that's why I just stick to those people that kind of do that. And I just, a lot of people, it's like, you can't get to a real answer if there's so many like crazy variables thrown in the mix. You start hearing these people list out the laundry list of stuff that they take. And it's like, well, then how are you giving advice on what this product is doing for you at the end of the day? It drives me fucking crazy.
Yeah, I think that you have to be meticulous with understanding what you're adding when you're adding it. I learned a long time ago not to change more than one thing at a time. Like when I go from like off season to on season, I change my diet and my training on different blocks, because if I do all of it at once, I can't track the progress, and I most likely not follow it as long if I change too many things at once. But when people are on a laundry list of things, but they're telling you that this one amino acid is what gave them insane changes in their training or progress, I'm like, yeah, but you also added in 17 other supplements. So
yeah, that's where it gets weird, because you have people, and it goes back to that whole how do we bridge that gap kind of thing. Because when you have people come in from that are just going about their daily lives trying to improve some aspect, we talk about there's all these cool products for stress and for nootropics and helping. They're taking in some caffeine from Starbucks, during their day, and that's the extent of what they do. But then, maybe prescription medications and stuff. So it's like, how do you bridge that gap between those people that?
Well, that's why you've got to be careful, my man, because when you put too much BioPerine in the product, like some people have done in the past, you could cause a real issue for someone who's taking medical products. Because if you're upregulating some stimulants in Adderall or something, and you accidentally put 50 mgs in, which has happened, bro, that guy's gonna be flying. You know what I mean? He's gonna literally be space cadet. So you have to be very careful. Very, very careful.
Yeah. And Justin started to go down a rabbit hole of things, and I'm going to make us go down with supplements. When you don't know if it's actually pure, if it's actually manufactured correctly, it's so hard to compare A to B when it's really apples and oranges. When one batch is completely different from the next, it really kind of hurts people's credibility. And I personally feel affected, like when I review something and clearly the next month is different. So that's personally been a recent just pet peeve of mine, something I've been harping on a lot, is if just accuracy of manufacturing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's that's not as easy to do as it sounds.
Right.
Like you can take a product with glycerol in it, and then seasons change and it's a completely different thing.
Yeah.
And then our scoop weights aren't the same because the density of the powder changes, like in transit, because it's somewhere that's like 85 degree, like just all kinds of crazy stuff. And we've been making the SKU for 6 months. So,
or even density of a powder into a capsule.
Right.
It's based on a serving size, not a capsule.
But even if you guys are within a certain tolerance, there are companies that just do not give a fuck.
Oh yeah, they just don't know.
Yeah,
they just don't know.
Yeah, and it makes Justin's and my job really hard. And I can't even imagine being Jacob and having a product switch through, stock, and all of a sudden it's a completely different product. It's hard to be part of this.
At first it pissed me off beyond anything, because here I was, this young store owner, just opened up, barely had anything on my shelves, had a full stock of pre-workouts though. And then, change of season, gets a little bit hotter out. Boom. All, and so, but then again, that kind of inspired me to do like what we do now, which is cyclical inventory year round. So like, you're never going to see, there's some staples, don't get me wrong, but we try to alternate in and out similarly dosed formulas year round to keep, the staleness, obviously from the consumer standpoint, but the clump and the change in texture and consistency from happening. So, but yeah, you just have to adapt to it, because I this year, I know it's coming,
Yeah, everybody's got a lot more inventory than they thought they were going to have.
Start putting your glycerol in the freezer.
Yep. No, yeah, you put them in the freezer.
Man, even citrulline, like I'm noticing for some products of ours, like
malate.
Yeah, it's more malate than anything.
Malate,
Yeah, I haven't noticed it with pure citrulline in products, but like,
should never.
Yeah,
Mike, do you know if reacted citrulline malate wasn't that way? Or is it just because it's malic acid now?
say what brand are you talking about?
I mean, like they're like citrulline malate used to be bonded.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's just
Doesn't
blended.
exist anymore.
Before, when it was bonded, did it have the same hydroscopic issues?
I presume yes. And I think a lot of the people who perpetrated that it was bonded, it wasn't.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, malic acid is like really, it messes with everything. You could take malic acid, or you could take citrulline malate, in my experience, more specifically malic acid, and just like leave it out on the table, and like come back like an hour later, and it's just like a puddle. It's like a puddle that's like burned like the table a little bit. Really weird.
We are in a very humid place.
Yeah, and we're drinking it, but there's lots of things that liquefy, more things than like I wish that we use all the time. But
I love it.
Yeah.
So I have to ask, as a manufacturer, I got to get into this a little bit. You guys go so above and beyond for all the things that you do. In your opinion, I got to ask, like, if you guys are doing so much and that's the exception, like, how the hell are all these other people getting away with what they're doing?
Because of stores that are not up to Jacob's standards.
Good answer.
Okay,
and so they're creating a demand for said products that are of.
Let me counter.
You can sell trash in brick and mortars with no website for a very long time.
Let me counter. The way they got rid of SARMs and DMAA wasn't through just taking it off the shelves. They made the people who made it be unable to take money for it. So we're shutting down your merchant processor and your bank account and freezing that. If there's no money, doesn't matter if there's demand, there's no supply. Because we're going to stop you being able to buy it. So if said company or manufacturer doesn't have a bank account or a merchant processor, you can't pay for that stuff. And no one's going to fucking mail you checks in and wait around and do all that stuff anymore. So that's how they got rid of most of the SARMs. They stopped the people making it from being able to get paid.
all that stuff's going to go online anyways to like research.
I see adverts on fucking Instagram for SARMs every day.
And I think it will be less. I hope it will be less.
And yeah, I say the word dirty Chinese hornet talking about murder hornets and they ban it as racist. So I don't understand how they're selling SARMs like openly on social media.
But why though? Like I don't get it. You know, like if you're going to put something in your body that may or may not have an anabolic effect, like why not just go for the real stuff? Like if that's something that
because people are pussies, and
in like fairness, I think there may be some arguments to be had about like testosterone versus like some research chemicals that like aren't gonna have the same side effects. But
yeah,
in any case, they don't belong in a like health food store.
Oh no doubt.
You know what I mean? They never did. And then I don't know. We have a lot of like legacy brands and stuff that kind of came from that like paradigm where you could build a brand that way. And a lot of our categories are defined by that like kind of branding. And so I don't know. I think as it opens up where like Ghost is a perfect example, like their branding is nothing like that at all.
Right.
Never has been.
I think there's a certain amount of hypocrisy to this. Justin and I have joked about how like we'll all say like you shouldn't be doing this, but like most of the people that are saying that are on TRT or have taken SARMs at some point in their life. But like I think there's a difference between saying like you shouldn't be able to sell this over a counter to just anyone, and saying like, hey, it could be in some area where informed individuals can get it.
Yeah, I mean, if people want to go and sell it on websites and like change their name every 6 months and people want to order it from websites, that's fine. But like putting it in a store that's like labeled like a health food store is kind of fucked up.
Yeah. I mean, like I'll be the first to admit that I've used research chemicals, but I'm not going to come on here and tell people that anyone should.
Yeah. So I was in a store the other week, as I am sometimes. Stop flicking that coin, I can hear it. This kid came in with his dad. And his dad was like, I need something to pump this boy up. And like,
oh my God.
Yeah. And it's like, right, this kid must have been 15. And the woman who was working there straight away went to put him onto some brand I'd never heard of with DMAA in it. And I'm just stood there like watching what's going on. I'm like, okay, so you're going to put a 15-year-old whose balls are barely fucking dropped straight onto the DMAA. This is going to fuck up his entire CNS and everything. But thank God the owner of the store overheard a friend of mine overheard what's coming out. I was going to call him aside anyway if something hadn't happened. Told him to go, no, you don't want that. How about we just put you on this one, which is about 200 mgs of caffeine and a little bit of citrulline. Very responsible. Okay. Now, this chick was about to sell him the fucking strongest shit you could get, rocket fuel, fucking, snake oil, whatever the hell it was. But that's the kind of vibe.
He would have loved it though.
No,
He would have.
He would have loved it, but he would also end up going home and slapping his old deer around, wouldn't he? So, fuck off, mum, I'm not eating that. That's what probably would have happened. Because I don't know about you guys, but when I used to take some of them real strong pre-workouts back in the day, it used to fuck with my brain. It used to make me like bipolar almost.
Well, I think that's why we all are the way that we are today, honestly. I mean,
Yeah.
Hey, this has become this will be the second time I've asked this on this podcast, but I have to ask since you guys source so much ingredients. Do you guys have access to like real DMAA? Like, could you order it and trust that it's real?
I think so.
You think you could get it?
I think we could get it.
I don't know. We could get it. I don't know where we would test it.
I think we get amp citrate if that counts.
Yeah.
I don't know. Amp citrate doesn't count. I'm talking like straight up 1,3 DMAA.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a rap. Yeah, if somebody had a gun to my head, like I could probably like find out how to make that happen in some supply chain. But I mean, I think even
you could test it.
NutriBio could probably
we could test it, and then the FDA would be here next week.
So to put it in perspective, but yeah, where are you going to test it? What are you going to do? Like, if you send that kind of thing to a licensed and registered testing place, they're going to record that.
They have to.
Are you saying that you could have it made or that it's readily available? Because like we used to have citrulline malate reacted like custom made for NutriBio. And I don't consider that the same. I'm saying like, can Joe Schmo who wants to make a product called Light Energy and put it in stores out there?
Light Energy, like we did there.
Could he find DMAA as just some guy who wants to make it?
I believe that one is
but
real.
I mean, I don't know, man.
Real.
Like, there's all kinds of you could probably find someone who would say that they had it, but then you'd have to get it into the country, and it's not here. You know what I mean? So it'd be like a nightmare. Not something I'd want to do.
We aren't doing it.
Yeah, because I know.
Before anyone asks,
because that's kind of been my point. Is like Mark Glazier, Mike Bischoff, like people who know where to look, go to the right places, probably could make it happen.
Oh yeah.
But your buddy that sells it down at the corner store, that like it comes from under the counter, I just don't trust it. I mean,
you could go on Alibaba and like probably get some sent to your house, like get samples sent to your house if you really want.
I don't trust that. I have to.
Right.
I don't know.
Right. So then your next step would just to be to try it all, and then like go with the one that you thought was the best.
That's the
and
response
that's enough.
that Justin and I have
That's
gotten,
enough.
That it feels like DMAA, which
try our stuff.
I
Feels
personally
like DMAA.
don't think that it was DMAA anyway. I think that if you remember like the real original days or the older days, so like the original NO shotgun, I'm talking 10, 12 years ago, that stuff didn't feel like the DMAA pre-workouts of 6 or 7 years ago. That stuff was completely different. That stuff, like you would take that and I mean, fucking hell, like Craze was literally meth. It was literally a meth analog. It was, Detonate had the same shit in it. It was Matt Cahill. I mean, the stuff like you used to take 12 years ago didn't feel the same as the DMAA from 6 years ago. Like this was just complete and utter difference.
It felt cleaner to me. I don't know if that's like I don't know what adjective you'd use to describe, but it felt healthier. It felt like I wasn't going to die. I felt like Superman.
Yeah, you just felt high.
Yeah, and then like I started using, when I started competing, it was using like God of Rage, which supposedly had DMA in it, and like Yohimbi and a whole bunch of other stuff. And I thought I was going to die, like there was it was similar, but not the same.
Yeah, you felt like your head was going to cave in. Yeah. It's not the same. Like I think the original old pre-workouts actually had performance enhancing sides. I think some of that was just a little bit of DMA, a gram of caffeine, and you feel like you're about to have a heart attack. So the entire time you're working out, you can't even feel your muscles because like you're literally fighting having a heart attack half the time. So that's how I felt anyway.
I don't know. I've taken like 1.5 grams of caffeine and it feels really good until it doesn't.
Yeah, I've taken a gram before.
Great 20
and
minutes.
It's like it's not. I don't know how you do that on a regular basis.
I don't. I've done it twice. I've done 1 gram and then I did 1.5 grams. when I did the gram and a half, you know that guy in X-Men Juggernaut that, like, just would run through brick walls? Like,
Yes.
I felt I was in a YMCA for this competition, and I remember looking at this wall and just thinking, like, if I had to run through that wall, I'm really sure I could. Like, I don't know what was going through my head, but I remember thinking, like, I could run through a solid wall right now. Like, like, I don't know, but the strength was just insane.
Yeah, I felt like the one time I did that, where I took a gram at one time, I felt like I was like within like 15 minutes, I felt like I was high.
Yeah.
And then the come down from that was like really fucked up.
Yeah.
Really uncomfortable. I felt sick. You know, I couldn't eat, didn't have an appetite for a very long time.
Right. Yeah, I remember taking off my shirt and laying on the cold floor because that would make me not throw up. Like, I needed that cold against the back of my neck. So don't do that if you're watching this.
Moral of the story.
Yeah.
Well, we got like a solid 2 hours here, guys. I don't know if I don't have any other questions I wanted to go over.
I'd like to close off with briefly discussing exactly what you guys dosed us with tonight. And
yeah, please.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're open to discuss it, I don't know.
Why don't you tell me what you think we dosed you with first?
I also, well, before we go into this, I want to say, like, about 15, 20 minutes ago, I felt like the calming part hit.
Now are you now you're ready to wrap it up, right?
Yeah, that was. I mean, like, I thought everything was over when I started feeling like the brain pump,
Mm-hmm.
and then after that, I felt like just that coming down to earth type feeling.
I got initially like I don't know if, like, I don't want to say it. Yeah, like a urea gerensis feel, if you've ever taken that on its own, like, or like kind of the speedy, feel good, like dopamine feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Caffeine definitely, but it wasn't like overly prominent. As it went on, I started to feel almost like rhodiola theanine kind of chill. I don't know. I mean, I'm still kind of experiencing the chill side of things, but definitely curious.
All right. What do you got, Ben?
I honestly, rhodiola pinged for me. I could understand that.
Yeah.
I had a weird, and it's hard not to compare this stuff to drugs, but like I had like a weird, real like euphoric but speedy feeling at the beginning. Like I wanted to just talk, but also I had like not fog in my brain, but like I was like really enjoying the moment.
Mm-hmm.
The calming part at the end felt very similar to Serenity, but I know you didn't give me 3 caps of Serenity, so
right.
I honestly, I'm pretty dumbfounded on this one, and that's cool with me.
That's awesome. What do you think, Justin?
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, I've had like a shit-eating grin on my face for like 45 minutes. Like, like literally, I'm like, stop smiling. I'm like a fucking idiot, but I can't. Like, I'm just kind of like, I'm good, man. It's totally.
Well, that's good.
It was very Serenity-like. Without Serenity to me, though, is very strong.
If you take 3 at one time, yeah, for sure.
It's very. So this was sort of like I said. I initially felt like kind of a subtle sort of head rush, and there was like an energetic as we were, getting really talkative. But absolutely, like for the last like half hour, 40, I'm just like, dude, I'm so good right now. Like I have no idea though. I wouldn't even take a guess.
That's awesome. So this is going to blow your mind because it's not exotic, but it's just like what happens when you stage an experience and then like the experience kind of takes on its own. So the first capsule that deployed was CDP choline, caffeine, L-DOPA, and P5P.
Wait, I'm sorry. Can you repeat that? I apologize.
All right. CDP choline, caffeine, L-DOPA, and P5P.
Okay.
As much as we could fit of the CDP and L-DOPA, 80 milligrams of caffeine, and then, I think it was 10 milligrams of P5P.
Huh. Okay.
Second
CDP
capsule
choline makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that one was supposed to just be like a dopaminergic kind of like focus with a real light amount of stim. Just kind of like sets the table. Not long after that, the capsule that busted was just GABA and theanine.
Okay.
Yeah, you called theanine, didn't you? You called that one.
Brain pump.
And then the last capsule was Serenity.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
I was looking at that DR cap and I was like, it's funny. I know the caps now, and I was like, that looks a lot like Serenity. Okay, that's. I'll be honest with you. I had a very I take 3 caps of Serenity at a time, and
Sure.
having only taken 1, that was impressive.
Well, when you stage it like that, it's like literally, it's like turning the lights on or off in a room before you put the TV on. Like it's a totally different thing.
I could see the GABA doing that. For me, GABA is sort of like a tranquilizer. So I felt that at the end kind of coming down. So then staging that with the Serenity after, I could understand that. It's funny, Justin, I don't know if you've been watching the comments, but your wife kept joking about how quiet and how smiling you are.
I couldn't tell. I was like, maybe 80 milligrams of caffeine was too much. Maybe he's just like,
No, no, she's 100% right. I mean, that's not me. I don't usually ever show up. So it's like,
that's awesome.
I'm just like, whatever. And it's totally a Serenity vibe. That's absolutely 100%.
I have to say, I'm really grasping desperately at a reason to try to tell you guys that you guys should put this in a pack and sell it, because that was.
Well, yeah. Like, do you guys think, Jacob, do you think you could sell a product that was like a staged experience?
Yeah, I'm actually working on one right now with our manufacturers. Not to this level, not exactly the not the same staging. I like the concept of it. I feel like that's something we could talk about to customers a lot better. But I think it would have its place if we found what would we pinpoint it as? Like, you can't call it a party drug. That's not what we do. But like, how would we? That would be the question that I would ask.
Yeah. I mean, I guess kind of like, would it be weird if like it could be any type of product? It could be a nootropic product. It could be a GDA type product. It could be
I was gonna say like
an alpha type product, and you take 3 capsules at a time, and they all deploy at a different interval.
I mean, everybody fucking podcasts anymore, man. Just make it a podcast.
Podcast product.
Oh, yeah. Wow. You just created a market of its own.
I'm telling you, man. There was somebody postulated, they were like, well, like, who's going to be the first company that comes up with a Netflix supplement that just lets you watch fucking for
That's called marijuana, my
hours.
friend.
Right.
Weed and Viagra. That's a step.
So there we go. Here's our first podcast supplement.
Well, and I was also...
That was what I was thinking. That's awesome. Do you guys remember, and Blackstone gets a lot of hate on here every time we talk, but they made a product called Euphoria.
Why? Why would they get any hate from it? I don't understand.
I can't imagine.
Yes, they make kits of like immunoglobulins that looks like it's supposed to be Serostem. But anyway, they had this product called Euphoria.
Isn't it just deer velvet, right?
They all look so happy.
They just stole that idea from Gaspari when we used to sell plasma jet as if it was fucking some...
Yeah, but that product, I took a half a bottle once, the max I was supposed to take. Like, that product was fun. And they used to give it out to like all of their friends at expos. That was an experience. It was fun. It's not the one that it used to be anymore. But like I kind of found very similar vibes in what we took today. Calling that a podcast supplement is such a cool idea.
I like it.
Do you not remember the old Spiradex, which were like those little acid pills, like the smiley face pills from back in the day? Do you remember them, Spiradex?
No.
They were like yellow circles with a smiley face on them.
That's awesome.
Is Spiradex a drug or a supplement?
It was a fucking drug pretending to be a supplement. We were sued for it.
We've come a long way since then.
Yeah. Good times.
I like it.
So what? All right. What if you did those first 2 caps and you took 3 caps Serenity? Would I be asleep right now?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think Serenity is like a sedentary product. I feel it's just like not for me. Okay. I take it with breakfast in the morning, and it's just to stop me knocking motherfuckers out during the day. So it's like keeps me real chill, and I'm just like,
Yeah, I've tried to make it like a standalone sleep product, but it's like
that's sedative for that.
Right, and it like takes the edge off, and it just the edge. Like that's it. Like it doesn't take that much off. My only problem with 3 capsules at like one time is I get a little bit like disinterested in things that normally excite me, and I right. Like if I'm trying to watch passive.
Like you're like a passenger sometimes in your life.
Exactly. Yeah, you're just like sitting on a train, you're just passing by everything.
Oh, that was my stop. Fuck,
get a little bit too complacent.
That's another hour.
One time's great. Definitely works more over time, which is another interesting thing. And I get like I have a less profound feeling from taking it now than I did before, and I think it's just there's some kind of saturation that's happened.
Yeah, you habitualized to it, I'm sure.
Yeah, if I take it, like you'll know if I ever do it because I'll answer every question. Like, I don't know.
I've seen you doing that. Well,
Right.
it might work for you. It might not. Who cares?
Yeah. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. What am I supposed to say? I don't know. Why would I know?
It's totally right. You
Yeah.
can definitely tell when it goes down. I'm like, whatever, man. Figure it out yourself.
I feel like you guys could reinvent what Animal Pack tried to do,
That's
except staging them up, like a I don't know. I mean, whether it's the podcast supplement or whatever, shit. Like,
Maybe we'll call it stage, and it's like a 90 minutes of I don't know, whatever you want to call that. Luck, excitement, ease.
Can you sell Liquid Luck? Or is that some Harry Potter
I think
shit?
I've seen a company that has a product called Liquid Luck.
Yeah.
I've heard it before. I think that might already be trademarked, but I love the word. I love the name Stage.
Stage. Yeah. Put Glaxon on the label holding a stand microphone so it can still have that subtle, podcast. He's on the stage.
The one thing I thought that it was missing that I forgot.
Fucking niacin.
No, not niacin. I thought that it needed nitrates. I thought that it needed a little bit of nitrate.
That gives you like physiological relaxation.
Just a little bit of like blood pressure lowering, a little bit of like beta blocker-esque kind of thing.
Okay, I could see that possibly.
It's called Smirk because that's just like apparently that's what it.
That would be a really good name too. We could just have like a cartoon character just like grinning.
Mm-hmm.
Could you just have all of our cartoons on the bottle, just like sitting there with like slightly shut eyes and smiling?
Great for like Thanksgiving and shit like that when you got to hang out with your family and you don't
There
really
you
want to
go.
fucking do it and you
Tell
got
you
to
what,
do it anyway. So
maybe we'll do it.
Get you
If we get
thing.
stores like Jacob on board, maybe we'll do it in packets and we'll launch it like around Christmas for like stocking stuffers, and we'll just call it Smirk.
Let's do it.
One time only, 1,500 packets, and we're done.
Let's do it.
But the done thing, is that like super?
Well, we'll see.
That's cool. I know. I think this is pretty dope. Does anyone have a contact with Joe Rogan? We can get this to.
Ooh.
He's
We have to go
unavailable
through
now.
Spotify now.
You just made them $2 billion.
Yeah.
$2 billion.
Who?
Insane,
Joe
man.
Rogan increased
Yep.
the value by signing by $2 billion. So people were bitching, oh, he made $100 million. He made them $2 billion. So that's
Well, he made $500,000 per cast or something like that. Beforehand off of his ad revenue.
Yeah.
That was a statistic I read last year. But I mean,
Guys, I like.
We just need to get
There's Joe-
Glaxon on that podcast, and then we're all set.
I think you could.
Brock Weaver is probably going to end up going on there at some point.
What's that?
Brock Weaver, if he wins a few fights, with him being Native American and with him being
And Joe likes him.
Yeah, he does like him. Dana tweets about Brock. So if Dana tweets about him, Joe likes him.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
The money, the ad revenue on that stuff is insane. I don't know if you guys are aware of the podcast Call Her Daddy, but
Yes.
there was like a bunch of drama with it and ended up with the president of Barstool getting on the feed of it. And he talked about how much these girls were making off that show. I mean, they were making over 500 G's just based on salary, then plus bonuses and
Not enough. Need more. Equal pay.
It's
Need the same as
insane.
Joe. Equal fucking pay. $100 million. Sexist.
It's insane, dude. They were walking in looking for raises. Like guys, all right, so Supplement Industry Roundtable podcast, we need to figure out how to get some ad revenue on this thing, because or we need to talk about
we got to build the brand.
So
I was
At
thinking
least some free shit. Come on, at least some free stuff.
True,
You know
true.
how
Share some
you know
mugs or
this.
something.
You know how you know this supplement is working because I'm not saying a fucking word right now. I have so many things I would like to say, but it's cool. We'll chill.
You know what I do want to do though? I think with each guest that we have on, like we discussed with Axe and Sledge going up there and being on their podcast, and then going out and hog hunting with Tannerite,
Yeah.
we could like call it.
Sure, they'd be down.
Like a.
If you can get range out with Seth, I'll go along 100%.
Sircast the vlog or something, and like just have a video series of crazy shit.
Yeah.
Which down the road. That was just a thought that came to my
Just
mind.
charge people to be on your show, guys. Charge them to talk about their stuff. There you go. That's the industry way, isn't it? $500, please. That's what people do these days, isn't it? I'm in the wrong fucking.
You
side of
guys
the
should
industry.
create a forum to you guys should nominate the brand of the year on here live in front of everyone.
Oh my!
I think Justin would immediately just disconnect from Zoom.
No, I'm just right. I'm holding out for the highest.
Supplement
bidder.
Roundtable trophy.
Brand of the year in month 5 of 12. That's when you want to do it.
Right.
Less than halfway through the year.
That's what I said the other day. I was like, wait a minute. I know it's been quarantine, but did I miss Never mind.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
year where like 3 months nothing happened apart from sitting around eating pizza. It's bizarre to me. You know, the gyms haven't even, the industry hasn't even been open really for like 3 months.
Right.
Crazy. It's a 9-month year. There's the Q2 just didn't exist as far as I'm concerned. Just next.
I just figured I might let you guys know Darren Decker, the director of partnership at bodybuilding.com, would like to have Smirk on bodybuilding.com. So
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Well, tell him to sign off on the fucking paperwork then, please. Because
you guys need to fix your compliance. Apparently,
Hey,
I think
we
he's
brought-
waiting on our labels.
Mark Post got back to him, all right? We brought the postman on because that's what he does. He gets things done. And I think we're pretty close, actually, Mr. Decker. So,
I
yeah.
can punch some numbers for you for sure. He can make it happen.
yeah,
I-
you just sign off. And
Right.
the
think
new
Smirk-
CEO will be fine with it. You know what I mean? They don't know what's going on.
Take one for the team.
I think Smirk could be really fun. It reminds me of that.
Merc, watch some assholes
Insane
gonna
Labs will
trademark it
come out
now.
with
and
one.
then-
Right?
Yeah.
Somebody better get on this.
Yeah.
It's out in the public domain now. You can't trademark it. So.
What's that?
You can't trademark it. It's out in the public domain. You just put it out into the public domain. How can you trademark something in
All
the
right.
public domain?
Fine. It's the property of the supplement roundtable.
Yeah. You know. By
Yeah,
the
we
way,
want
Ignite doesn't
royalties.
have a trademark. Ignite does not have a trademark and it still trades. So
Boom.
Well, on that note, I think we've completely expended the content for the night.
Yeah.
I know we want to do another episode with Joey at some point.
Yes.
So just let him know. We'll get him on. I honestly don't know. Joey is such a large personality and amount of knowledge. I don't know if that would have fit into the amount of time that we had tonight. So it's probably, this is awesome on its own. I think we can really spread this all out. So
Yes. This will be an interesting podcast forum for Joey, for sure.
yeah.
Because you're gonna have to put him in some, like, you're gonna have to give him direction, or you're just the whole time you're gonna be just like,
Yeah.
oh wow, like let me think of an intelligent question to ask based on a bunch of shit that I don't know what that means.
well, riddle me this, riddle me that. That's how he's gonna come back to you. I'm like, nah, Joey, answer the fucking question, bro. Like, don't answer my question with some fucking riddle. All right, come on, let's bring it back to earth. Please.
Joey's been kind enough to let me sit in on some Zoom meetings for some stuff, and like just listening to him work is just like,
Oh, he's the
what?
real. He
Wait,
is the
what
real
Zoom
deal.
meetings
He
does
is the
Joey
real
have
deal.
you listening to?
Yeah, I know. Like,
I'll talk to you about it later.
All right.
He's used to us.
This is still live right now, but like he allowed me to just like kind of listen, and it's like listening to him do like this stuff is just wild. Or even like when I was trying to help him out with that one ingredient, the poultry ingredient.
Oh yeah.
Just
He's
listen to the way that
bad. He'll pull Joey into a conversation he doesn't know anything about. Like, Joey, get Joey in here quickly and just throw a question at Joey in front of someone he doesn't even know. And then it's like he has to recite immediately like encyclopedia knowledge to this person.
Yeah.
And he does it.
Right.
It's almost
Yes.
like Rain Man,
He loves doing that shit.
you know, 700 fucking match chicks.
He
on the
lives
floor
for
or
that
whatever,
shit.
you know?
I honestly would love to watch him.
I've
on
gone
Joe
to like
Rogan.
NASA conferences with Joey
Savage,
and
Savage
watched him
versus
get up and
Whitlock.
talk.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I'd love to put him on Joe Rogan just because he has such a wide variety of things to talk about.
He would take Joe down the whole sort of astrology thing and they'd go into that for a while.
I think they'd be on
Go back to
DMT for a serious amount of time.
DMT, and then he'd be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, this is DMT, this symbol," and you know, before you know it, they'd be like, best
That's what
mates.
we would lose Joey there.
Yeah, he would
Yeah.
be like, he would become the new person who looks facts up for Joe on the podcast. So
Jamie, you're fired.
yeah,
Yeah.
Jamie, you report into fucking Joey now. All right, so
Oh
Well,
man.
I have to say thank you guys so much for coming on.
Yeah, it was
For having
awesome.
us.
Yeah, this is super fun. We'll have to. I know. I hate to say it's already. It's for those you guys. I know I'm coming down to Texas, but I would love to have everyone else come down too and do a surf.
it's all
thing
right.
at
We're
some
having
point.
people around Michael's house, Mike. So everyone come down. We'll just hang out. At
Yeah,
Mike's.
I'd like to get like this is a separate trip.
If it's
We should
anyone
all
on
go
this
down.
podcast, you guys are more than welcome to come and hang out at my
Yeah.
house. All
I
right.
appreciate that, man. If I just
Perfect.
show up randomly, I'm holding you to that.
This was so much fun. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
good shit.
All right, guys.
Okay, pleasure.
Thanks,
Thanks.
guys.
Yeah, thank you guys. Y'all have a good night.
You
All right,
too.
peace.